What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 2 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Settra the Great King Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, as we were handsomely paid off by these Latland Lizardmen to leave them alone for 10 turns, we did not complete the City of Kings province, but instead booked it on southward, taking the necropolis of Khemri, previously occupied by the Archaeological Expedition Imperial faction, and then proceeding down to destroy Arkan the Black and take his tower as well, which has a pretty nice landmark offering an additional income increase within the province, and thus hopefully a solid money-making territory that we'll put to good use. Speaking of money-making, in this particular episode, we will be looking to end a number of turns and try to build up our income sources so that we can sort of book it on towards getting more advanced units up and running as fast as possible. Kind of like the tomb barks, which at least we already have coming in soon. Anyway, in that light, let's send Panet here into Black Tower of Arkan at least briefly. Get that little bit of extra military presence via the, presence. Let's upgrade you, but I think we'll wait for the upgrades of these until we get the worship up and running, so the construction reduction helps us out. I do, however, want to grab the Loyal Guardian guy here, the Tomb Prince, and the reason isn't actually for the flanking immune to accompanying Lord, but rather the control +2 for all province. What we're going to do is we're going to pop and max out Canopic Jar Hoarder and increase control, and essentially use this guy to temporarily bolster the control that we have here. I decided that the flanking immune trait is actually useless because between the episodes I took a quick look at the text just to familiarize myself a little bit better with what we've got going on here, since there's a lot, and I noticed this. Hearts of Stone will give attribute immune to flanking for all characters faction-wide, meaning that as soon as this tech is researched, all the heroes that provide that trait become completely useless and obsolete, meaning we have no real purpose for you, and you could just provide us briefly some control. We should also probably collect the income here while we're at it. Yeah, -3, not so bad. We should be able to counteract it pretty quickly. Otherwise, let's see if there's anything important to be building here. Might as well upgrade the green territories, and we could just start straight up going through these. Gotta get that income flowing. We do also want to save up the 10k in order to make use of those canopic jars and unlock our next army, but we're kind of out of capacities anyway for all the stuff that we really want, like Tomb Guard and stuff, so we might as well wait, build those buildings, and then make use of the new army with the additional capacities. Though admittedly we could also do the follower armies with giant piles of skeletons just to activate the Realm of Souls. Gotta have it at some point. But anyway, let's try to make our way through the next few turns quickly. So, next turn 1. Alright, ready for duty, hardly matters. Negative growth in Tomb of Queen Rosset. Well, that's not very nice, but what can you do? Second front, well, as soon as we get that extra Lord up and running. Settra, you're gonna book it on over here, and then I guess we'll put Prince Psamtik right here between the two territories, such that he can, switch to the other if we need the additional public order. Otherwise, we've got more buildings to be building, more money to be making, and public order to, counteract the negative public order with. Let's upgrade the Black Tower of Arkan to the next tier while we're here. And the City of Kings, you're pretty much okay for now, so it's another quick end turn. Alright, Prince, alright, you don't need to move, but Settra, you can keep on moving. Stay in this territory to apply your public order or your construction bonuses, and then I guess, Mr. Panet, you're gonna follow along as well. Follow the Settra. You, Hakor, are now done with the construction or recruitment of the Tomb Guard, Skeleton Chariots, and Tomb Barks, and so you're going to, I guess, go through Plague Pyramid of Nagash, because we're going to attack him anyway, so... Right, ooh, wait, do you have a construction reduction? Wait a second. In case we need to build anything here? Well, we don't need to build anything there, so I guess it doesn't matter whether you do or you don't. Alright, what does matter is we go through Root Marcher in order to get Canopic Jar Hoarder as fast as possible. Lovely. You two are good, and... You know what, Panet, just grab Lord of NEHEKHARA. I figure... we can use the main lords as lore of NEHEKHARA, and then if there are other lords or other heroes needed to be put into the army, then we'll just use them instead, right? I feel like that makes sense. Like if we want lore of life or lore of death, but the main lords should be NEHEKHARA casters, because we need all the healing that we can get, such as it is, I guess. Anyway, it's another quick end turn unless I'm mistaken. Yes, indeed it is. Alright, ooh, what the heck do we have here? A new dynasty begins, my immortal lord. Huh, wow, this is the special event. I thought we got one last episode, but I guess we got a different... I guess that wasn't the special event, and this is the special event. Alright, fair enough. My Immortal Lord. The Lich Priests have prepared spells and incantations to quicken NEHEKHARA's restoration. It is possible that through your conquests our forces have obtained items of power which could be used to empower the Lich Priests' rituals, should you deem this a worthy use of our resources. Scorned Priests. Research rate, growth, control, construction versus... Oh, okay, I see. So it's basically minor increases, iterations of the same thing. So basically, the weakest for no canopic jars and then the strongest for 300. It's 25 turns worth, though. It's definitely worth the 300 jars. Admittedly, this means we won't be able to get our army in 2 turns, which I was hoping to do, but I guess that's all right. We can just keep spending the money we have until we get enough canopic jars to counteract this. And this will save us money as well in the early game, which will mean, you know, more money and snowballing faster. We'll take it. I'll give this a read, though. Defer to the mortuary cult. Do not bother me with this. Have all the jars you want, just don't talk to Settra. Large token, our wealth is vast, the suffering is inconsequential. They have earned no more. Begone. Yeah, alright now. Bother me no more. Do not bother me with this. Alright. And we need 150, we gain 40 per turn, so yeah, we can freely spend money now, I guess. Fair enough. Alright, well, we have no buildings to be building here, but I take it we do have some here, which is fine. So, Settra, you're going to proceed here. Hakor, you're about to trade stuff to Settra. Panat, you can, I don't know, I guess reinforce. Frankly, you can just trade stuff and move away, but anyway. You're gonna do this, then we will build whatever buildings we can here. Let's start with you, Great Pyramid. I like the cost reduction. It's minor, but it's enough. Huh. Almost makes me tempted to build a few... Okay, this costs 210. Granted, it only generates 20 gold, so nah. I mean, it'll be up for 10 turns. I mean, it'll pay for itself, I guess. I wonder how many turns these will be up for. Who knows? Go for it. Why not? They'll never get any cheaper after all. May as well spend all our gold until we get this up and running to whatever 1,000 again. Oh! It said that this wouldn't reoccur until 50 turns, but it's only 25 turns long, meaning it's going to be a long time until we see that again. That's a good one, though, especially since we are certainly hankering for growth and control and construction in the early game, but I digress. Let us do this. You to trade the Tomb Guard, the Skeleton Chariots, the Tomb Barks for the NEHEKHARA Warriors, for the Skeleton Horse Archers, and I guess the one range chariot. Wait. Oh, right. Keep the range chariot, don't trade one. I like that. There we go. Settra, 20 out of 20. Is this the final form of his army? Absolutely not, because A, he'll want more elite Tomb Guard, and also this is nowhere near enough melee troops, as he will never be able to activate the Realm of Souls with it. And considering how much he does generally buff Tomb Guard with various things, we probably should have some Tomb Guard in his army, rather than just going straight to all chariots. Although a lot of the stuff in his army admittedly does buff up chariots a fair bit. You know, I'll think about it. We could always sort of have a follower army with a bunch of Tomb Guard and a bunch of chariots as well, kind of similar to Settra's own army, and then sort of swap Settra's own forces around as needed for the purpose. I kind of don't dislike that idea, so Settra can have a sort of pick and choose out of the follower army of the troops that he may want to use. Feels like something he'd do, yeah? Yeah. Anyway, you. I would like you to grab the NEHEKHARA Warrior here, grab the Skeleton Horse Archer, trade out the Skeleton Chariot, and then grab the Skeleton Horses. Like so. None of you can channel, and I guess it's not needed. And then Hakor. I mean, I guess we can mosey on in to help at the Black Pyramid. Alright, fair enough. We'll skip all of this. We've spent all our money. We're ending our turn. Alright, what do we have here? Wow, okay, well, we just lost 300 and we can gain 250 back, and it's lovely. Anyway, on the Conqueror's Eternal Service, we have made a great discovery. During the course of our excavations, remains of the army that once served Alcatazar the Conqueror, the last and maybe the greatest of all the priest kings of NEHEKHARA, have been unearthed. It would take but a little magic to raise them to our service. Should we do so, or give them a ritual burial in the classic NEHEKHARAN style? Use the remains. We can be certain that the Conqueror no longer requires his servants, at least not on this mortal plane. Let us use their desiccated bones in continuance of our quest for a worldly paradise. Alright, well, now we need our 10k, I guess. Hopefully we can get a little bit of cash from the Black Pyramid then. A Rite of Awakening performed Zlatlan. Sure, I don't think we care. And hey, the Ossuary Dirge is up and running. Great. Melee attack and defense +4 for all basic skeletons, as well as chariots, which also have skeletons on them. But anyway, unless I'm mistaken, we were gonna do First Dynasty plans next, mostly because we want the additional armor for the chariots and all the basic troops, and because the speed here won't apply to the chariots, even if the charge will, whereas both of these, the armor and the weapon strength do, so might as well get the doubling up of it. I guess we can wait on the upgrades, get the army up and running, since we don't have to wait for the jars anymore. So, I could probably speed it up by cancelling these two. It will take a while to pay for themselves. Well, again, 10 turns to pay for themselves, which isn't much. The thing is that these are to be deleted eventually. But eventually isn't now. Whatever, we're good. I think we're okay. Either way, that doesn't change the fact that Settra, you will begin the assault on the Black Pyramid by declaring war upon them. And unfortunately, it looks like they have sandstone walls here, which means this cannot be a cinematic battle. Alright, let's besiege them. And let's build some towers and such, and we'll give them a chance to sally out. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll use one of our armies rather than two to reinforce the weaker army with a pile of garbage, basically. Like so, and maybe we can use Panad essentially as Settra's follower lord with the bonus troops. Hakor will then instead go this way. We could go for the greenskins. There is a little Skaven faction out here that I think that last time I checked, let me just see here. I don't actually remember what they're called. Well, neither the greenskins nor the Skaven nor the ogres are going to like us very much, and they're all holding territory that we want. So yeah, Clan Phlegm, -59. Yeah, they don't like us quite a bit. Almost as much as the Vamps hate us. And so we should probably get ready to wipe them out. Is this their yeah, this is their capital. It's in red territory, unfortunately. Which is kind of a hassle to deal with. Maybe we should just raise it. How many territories do these Skaven have? Just to be clear, 3. So 1, 2, and then I wonder if this is the other one? Carrion Nest on the Road of Kings, but we certainly can't have rats infesting the Road of Kings, so yeah, no. Got a deal. Ooh, I should have popped you into channeling, I guess? You're actually not in such bad shape. Alright, you... I guess go into Great Dynasty stance to counteract the little bit of corruption here. And otherwise, I believe we're good to go. Yes, public order is +6, +8. And let's skip. We do have the Great Incantation of Tra available as well. Wait, if we raise this, we could probably get a little bit of cash for our trouble. It'll take it down to tier 2. It costs 2.3k to go up to tier 3. So yeah, I guess we could raise it, get a little bit of money, and then just re-up it immediately to tier 3. Not a huge difference, to be perfectly honest, but we'll end up saving a little bit of cash. Alright, fine, why not? Let's go for the Great Incantation of Tra. Get it on cooldown immediately. And then we'll use the little fella as soon as the Black Pyramid falls. Alright, good for you. Alright, let's end the turn. Alright, too cowardly to sally out by the looks of it. Either way, Hakor, I guess you're going this way. There's also the orcs to consider, and we do have to move towards the Fleet Port of Terror, so Zandri, because Zandri possesses the first of the Books of Nagash that we'll want, right? And we need to... Oh, actually, it's not quite Zandri, it's the Wreck of the Desolation, which admittedly, or at least is right beside Zandri. Does give us that lovely research rate, construction time, canopic jars, and all that. I guess the real best one is the 8th Book of Nagash out here, but we'll need to confederate Khalida before that. I do like the capacities and the army capacity out of the 5th book, but it'll be a bit until we can send a spare army all the way up here past Sartosa just to wipe those guys out. But anyway, I guess we're just gonna attack, aren't we? Attack we shall. Alrighty, Pyrrhic victory. I don't get why you didn't sally out. Look at all these constructs you have. Good lord, we have one game. Go. Alright, now like I said, unfortunately this can't be a full-on cinematic battle because the building, the garrison structure that moderately increases the health of the walls and towers and whatnot, causes desyncs in cinematics. But what can you do? And generally speaking, why I just like to besiege these places and allow the enemy to sally out, but if it ain't happening, it ain't happening. We got a tower over here. Wait, how many? Oh, we only have 2. In theory, the best way to go is here because the enemy's going to have a difficult time with it, though admittedly this will also shield the... It'll shield the enemy from some Casket of Souls Fire, but who knows how much. I guess we'll find out. Let's do it. Screw it. Screw it, let's do it. That's my motto. Yeah. Alrighty, you guys move on in. Oh, like so. Okay, what the heck is wrong with you? Go here, you up front. Oh, no, not the Khemri guard. I do not want you doing that. I want you, random little pile of units, to do that. Like so. Settra, you guys, you can mosey on in when you're ready. Ooh, Toonbarks. This is gonna be your debut battle. Oh, look at you. They do look pretty fantastic. Little carrion being carried on the wings of the carrion, I guess. Floating overhead. They've got that lovely little mortis engine sort of glow that they've got. Oh, it's just sort of souls flying around, although they do have that little mini mortis engine effect of Khemri beetles, so still. Anyway, we'll have some fun with these guys soon, I'm sure. Let's set up the chariot piles. And you guys are, well, since you're single entities, you're actually much safer to move on into the center than the chariots are, so yeah. Alright, and then you can move here. We won't need the Sphinx to batter down the gates, and we got reinforcements coming in 1 minute and 50 seconds. Let's move you slightly. An extra 10 seconds will make no difference whatsoever. Alright, you, and you. You guys will need to all move forward. And that's all, right? Yes, there we go. Oh, there's that legionary barrage. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Such a... yeah. Probably could have popped the... Actually, this is only physical... Oh my lord! Really? Half of the HP off a unit of Tomb Guard? That's kind of disgusting. Oh well, what can you do? You guys move forward. On the bright side, the enemy doesn't seem to have too much in the way of range firepower. On the less bright side, you know what? Maybe we pop off a cheap... Joff's Incantation of Curse. You know what? Khemri Guard, move back then. Use this to heal these guys a little bit. It'll only heal them like 2% though, so maybe we just wait. Kinda not worth it, I guess. Alright, well... let's just hope that they don't die with the next Legionary Barrage. Oh, it's one of the new guys, so we can just re-up them later on. What are you in range of? Nothing, really. Okay, Khemri Guard, let's just back up. Hey, how dare you shoot at Settra? What is this? Pathetic. Alright, let's speed this up a little bit, though, while we go. We gotta find proper cinematic fights. And, ooh, did you move into range? You did move into range. No. That's gonna be a no from me. Switch on to guard mode while we mosey on forward. Alright, single entities, it's time to move. Same with you, War Sphinx, and Khemri Guard, you're moving as well. You're gonna move through that gate immediately. It looks like the enemies are outie. And, oh, they have the Ushabti with great bows out there. Okay, we gotta take care of those guys ASAP. Alright, single entities, forward. Let's use the Skeleton Archer Chariots here to support. We got the... other single entities moving on in. Alright, let's do spears. You're gonna move on in and help out. And then let's do, I don't know. We need to protect these guys from the Ushabti summons, because like us, the enemy do have those available. Got another chariot. And we've got a flyer. We've got the... oh, I guess we have multiple flyers, but anyway. Let's get the skeleton archers in. Flyers, move on up. And let's turn off the... skirmish mode on everybody. Alright, Settra and co. Get ready to move on in and go after those who Ushabti with great bow. You guys come on down. Tomb Guard out. Khemri Guard in. Let's make you guys all into group 1, I guess. Hey, engage those guys into combat. Come back here. Oh, if this was the players' units, they would have immediately gotten engaged rather than being able to run away like this. Come on. Go, fight them, kill them, destroy them, etc. Alright, so these guys are sticking around back there. We can wait. What I would like to do, however, is keep you... Well, no, actually, keep you here. Turn off of this. Let's move the carrion out here. Get ready to wipe out that Screaming Skull catapult. Settra and Co have moved forward, and Toonbarks, you're forward as well. And one enemy unit moved in to prevent us from going forward. Alright, fair enough. Settra, let us give bleed to, I don't know, this Tomb Guard unit, I guess. And then there are few enough infantry units around you as yet, but we'll pop off that Blade of Tra, or Wrath of Tra abilities soon. Okay, these guys are in the way of the breach, but we can send archers up the walls, maybe. Alright, gotta make sure that you're safe. How are the flyers looking? Well, they're getting attacked somewhat, but we should be fine. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to quickly close the distance at the very least. There you go. And move on in, and then get out, and then you can go after the other one afterwards. We can leave Settra to it, I imagine. Alright, and jump on in. Wow, you guys are taking a long time to kill this one little pile of artillery crew. Come on now. Enemy's going to close the distance before you're able to do anything, and the Toonbarks are certainly taking their sweet time. In fact, let's peel one of them away and move here. Settra, time to activate your ability, and let's buff everybody up. Again, unfortunately can't make this one into a cinematic, but what can you do? Send you up the towers is one thing we can do. Flock of Joff and the other flyers, let's fly over everybody else. Make you group 5, let's say. Alright, that looks good to me. You guys just sort of sit here. In fact, maybe sit away from the rest of the units. Alrighty, and Kemper Guard, I honestly thought you would, or just regular Tomb Guard, I honestly thought you'd clear these guys out a little bit faster. And I told you to peel away from here. Why did you... Don't re-engage. What are you doing? You jerk face. Okay, well. Gonna cause problems for us here. Enemies keep moving in. Not that it matters over much, at least not with Settra leading everybody here. Pop this up on the Tomb Guard, and you guys go kill that Screaming Skull catapult. Maybe this is why they didn't sally out there, not standing too much of a chance. Pretty much all the damage done by the enemy army so far has been from the Legionary barrage, and it looks like enemy infantry piles are nearly done. Let's switch to these Skeleton Warriors. Looks like the Tomb Guard here are out, which means we'll be able to pop in some skeletons. And did I not tell some archers to move into the towers? I swear I did, but they're just kind of sitting there. Come on. Alright, you go forward, please. Frankly, I'm not sure if you won't just be in the way of the Tomb Guard, but it is what it is. It won't make too much of a difference either way, I imagine. 5, what are we at here? Nearly done for. Gotta watch out and be careful about getting charged by that unit of Ushabti, so just keeping an eye so we can get that unit out as fast as possible. Other Toonbarks have nearly cleared the way. Alright, let's move past it. And then you and you are going up the walls. Ushabti are sitting back, and the catapult is done, so you guys can lift off. Any towers out here that we might want to destroy? I don't see one. I do see an isolated unit of NEHEKHARA warriors, which we might go and kill, so fly over everybody and then go deal with them. Alright, looking good. Blob. It's just blob tactics this time around. Actually, you know what? I lied. Let's go for those skeleton archers ASAP. I think there's... Unless I'm mistaken, there might be another unit of Ushabti somewhere in here. So let's be careful about that. Alright, let's also start sending in the ranged chariots. Although, the enemy summon a unit of Ushabti with the Realm of Souls, it'll be melee chariots that'll be in more need. Alright, everybody attack these skeleton archers. I don't see summoned Ushabti. Where's that unit of NEHEKHARA warriors? Ah, they're here. Oh! I see our flyers are being fired at by the sepulchral stalkers. Okay, well, just back away from that. And... no Ushabti? Not yet. Alright, skeleton archers are running. And yeah, maybe we shouldn't bother using the skeleton spears here. Not sure that they will serve too much of a purpose. Just get all of the chariots in, or the ranged chariots at the very least in. There's not enough space to fight in this little thoroughfare. With the melee, the enemy is just going to back off. Yeah, sorry about the wonky camera work as well. I tried to make a pseudo-cinematic here, but unfortunately the problem is these bridges. Can't really do much about it with them there. I do wish that you could basically, like, I don't know, press a button and make that go away. Like, be able to pass through those. Anyway, blob tactics continue. Ooh, hello, you know, shop team. No. We'll target that first. Settra, you're gonna move towards the skeleton warriors. Let's pop up a buff on everybody here. Heal them up a teensy bit, but also reduce the damage dealt by the Ushabti. Oh, Settra's gonna miscast. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, looks like one of the tomb barks has taken a little bit of damage, but otherwise we're okay. Chariots, you can now advance a teensy bit more. Like, okay, no, not up there. Not up there. Okay, just go forward. Jerk faces. You guys. No, I don't like any of this. Go away. I don't want them to get attacked by Sepulchral Stalkers while I'm, you know, paying too much attention to this. And what is this? Tell me they're summoning the Ushabti here. Are you really going to summon the Ushabti here? Is that what this is? Or are you using some other ability? Like, no, it is the Ushabti. Okay, well, that's fine. You guys all go here, and then everybody just pincushion the Ushabti. How's Settra? Still in the middle of the blob. Let's move towards all this. Look like the first unit of Ushabti is done for. Guess we could watch this one fight for at least a little bit. Since we don't yet have Ushabti of our own, got to enjoy some kind of Ushabti. Alright, and actually, Chariot, please get out of the way. Now I sent you all in, but you're okay. Yeah, you gotta really just generally try to stick to sending one chariot in at a time. As in, they get in each other's way in the gates so much, and then they try to move back outside the settlement because the pathing and unit behavior is just sort of awful. But anyway. Alright, this unit of Ushabti is done. I should probably pay attention to the main army, especially with one of the tomb barks still taking range fire. Alright, Settra, clear the way. Wrath of Tra. A little bit of damage. It'll let us peel away and start moving towards those skeleton archers. Settra, I'd like you to offer a little bit of healing to everybody. I like so. Via your passive, I mean. And we can get back to watching those Ushabti for a little bit. Alright, getting torn to shreds by the range fire. I'm sure we're taking a little bit of damage on our range chariots. Well, one of them has been destroyed. The horses are standing still. Why are you whipping them? What are you doing? Maybe you should have joined Slanesh. Anyway, how are we doing here? Another unit of Ushabti has closed the distance, and lovely for them. Let's send some skeleton archers in, shall we? In fact, all the skeleton archers. Down to move... Not there. Down to move up right here. 4 of them. And the 5th one can go here. And then 2 skeleton chariots here. And 2 skeleton chariots here. Good enough. Alright, tomb barks back off slightly, or these damaged tomb barks back off slightly. Settra, let's bone up, and I don't know why I said that. Let's make the Kepler Guard, Tomb Guard, somebody, cause bleed. Where is the Kepler Guard, by the way? Right here. You know what, let's also move up the damaged unit of Tomb Guard. We'll keep them sort of behind the rest of the army, and just use them to sort of help out. Still taking range fire, annoyingly. We don't know where the Sepulchral Stalker is, or I would have landed the units otherwise. Yeah, I can't zoom in on this, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Close as I can get. Would have landed the Flock of Joff and the Carrion upon the range units that are annoying us there. We have no damaging spell that we can use upon them here either. I do like the way that these guys light up the darkness, though. That'll be actually a really nice boon for future battles, as we'll be able to see things, sort of at least, when we fight enemies in the dark. Alright, we should probably loop around the enemies some. Let's send one of you away here and one of the units of Tomb Guard and loop around. Hey, there's a unit of Sepulchral Stalkers, and I see the enemy Lord has made an appearance as well. How's our Khemri and Tomb Sphinx? You know what? War Sphinx, rather. Oh, okay, that's dangerous. Let's heal the War Sphinx, and we need to close the distance with those Sepulchral Stalkers before those shotgun blasts do too much damage. Yeah, the pathing is atrocious. They're all, see, half of them are trying to get around this side of the Sphinx, and then the other half are this side, and I don't know why you're moving at a glacial speed other than the debilitation, but it ain't helping. Alright, move forward. At least the archers are all on the way, and they'll help out provide support. Maybe send a few Skelly boys in, or a few more Skelly boys in. Yeah, the range chariots won't help, they're just in the way here. There we go. Alright, so the Sepulchral Stalkers have closed the distance with the War Sphinx. Let's buff it up with a little bit of Narus. And You don't Bone Crusher. I guess you could make them bleed, but at the same time, there's other units. What I do want is one of the Toonk Barks to bloody peel away from the formation, like the 3rd time. The pathing. Like, the unit won't move around the obstruction by itself. It needs to be sort of babysat to do it. Huh, these guys aren't... Well, no, they're not constructs. I was wondering whether we could heal them somehow. Huh, wait, can these guys actually shoot through the obstruction, out of curiosity? I wonder. Anybody damaged here? Well, not really, or at least not significantly. Let's pop up a Wrath of Tra, get them Nehek out of there. War Sphinx is doing fine against all those stalkers, and oh, since both of the stalkers have closed the distance, I think that means we're free to send in the flyers. And good. And ooh, looks like we got hit by the curse, as the enemy lord has taken damage, which means everybody around here is going to take damage as well. Settra, get ready to cast again. Maybe pop off that potion in order to do a little bit of extra damage to the enemy, get a little bit of bleed going on the Tomb Guard, like so. You guys can move back into the combat, and you can help out these guys and the War Sphinx as well. Alright, can we see what's going on from this angle? Yeah, sort of. Alright, taking a bit of a while. Normally, I'd obviously sort of speed through sort of portions of a siege like this but during a cinematic, but since here we're stuck controlling these guys, all we can do... Alright, everybody is hit by the Curse of Joff and is now in Rampage, but all good. How's the distance on the carrion here? Alright, you can rear charge what remains here, but the battle is just about ours. Okay, you can actually move away because you're genuinely starting to take a bit of damage. Admittedly, we're far from any enemy that's liable to hurt us, so not a huge concern anymore. Oh, I can't wait to get Sepulchral Stalkers. They're one of my favorite units in the entire game. Partly, at least, I think, because they're hybrid units similar to the close quarters infantry, like the Handbow Corsairs and the Slayer Pirates and such that I adore. And Sepulchral Stalkers can similarly do a lot of things and be applied to any and every army. For now, though, gotta melt away the last of the remaining Skeleton Spears and Tomb Kings here. Maybe get a Tomb Kings. Maybe get a couple more casts off of something to help out and heal up rather, and I believe we're done. Yes, the last of the units will fall. Maybe, yeah, there we go. All right, easy enough. And this is exactly why I wanted the enemy to attack us in the field. At least in the field, they would have been able to send all their constructs at us at once, rather than have them torn to shreds one by one. Alright, it looks like the Tomb Barks were a pretty good idea here. By virtue of being single entities, they're a lot safer to send in sieges than the regular melee chariots are. And certainly they take damage from enemy range fire, but yeah, I think maybe we'll keep a decent amount of them in Settra's army as well. We can use the missile chariots in the reinforcing army then, I think. And that'll also allow them to close the distance rather quick and reinforce as needed, and it'll also allow us some space to put more Tomb Guard in, like the Guard of Mahrok, and there's a bunch of sort of unique units of Tomb Guard that we'll be able to get, depending on the pyramid. Anyway, Decisive Victory. What is this? 122 money game? Really? Wait, what did that say? I saw something about Screaming Skull Catapults. We didn't steal one, did we? I don't see one here. Oh, don't tell me that by virtue... I swear I saw Screaming Skull Catapult. I don't think so, though. Don't tell me that because Settra had 20 out of 20 units that we weren't able to steal. I wish I hadn't clicked through all that, but I might have also been seeing things. I've been too hopeful. Either way, we're gonna raise the... Really? 840? Huh. Actually, kind of wasn't even really worth it, really. Yeah, whatever, raise it. Raise it. A Blessed Legion, and the Sentinel is destroyed, and then you can immediately recolonize it like so. There you go. And it's up to back up to immediately tier 5. Worship to get the construction reduction takes only nearly 5k to get the Vault in the Gash, so I think we'll stay here for the turn. I guess we have no choice. And then next turn we'll build it for slightly cheaper. Alright, you sir, go into channeling stance. And then travel here. Gotta max out your magics. Hero activity success, province secured, canopic jars, and treasury increase. Hey, we got 3 provinces as well. Killed in the line of duty, not really. Oh, 350 barrier on the obsidian lodestone? It's not bad. Alrighty, also, the Black Pyramid, besides the Vault of Nagash, I'm a little bit tempted to build a Scorpion Nest here so we could get our first Tomb Scorpion, or double up on the Ushabti so we could get both of them in one army. I think we don't have a choice about getting the... Oh, the control is still going to be garbage here, isn't it? Actually, is it? Ignoring characters and such, we have no negative control, so why are these regions struggling from control? -10 from collected income. You're also -10 from collected income. You're getting 3 from characters, which means, yeah... I think at least in the early game we'll want to collect the income. Oh, wow, Settra, or the Pyramid of Nagash actually makes a lot more money. Twice as much as Khemri does. And also the growth for all provinces is going to be nice when it reaches tier 5. Alright, I guess then we have no choice. We got to go for growth here. Fair enough. Growth it is, and obelisk for the control so that we can keep collecting the money. Yeah, we could grow it faster by uncollecting it, but for now we need the money. We will eventually uncollect it, and then we'll build the Black Pyramid next turn, which we should have cash for. Alright, Panet, you can move, I don't know, here. We're going to use you to recruit some chariots at Khemri. And you can go in channeling stance. Ooh, you've reached up new rank. What do we got here? I guess we can increase the Tomb Prince capacity as well, founder of Khemri. Like so. That will enable us to immediately get another Tomb Prince. And I wanted this one. Exceptional protection for Lord. So I guess it's going to be you, sir. Bannerman Ratik, you're in. And you are going to lead the Tomb Guard on foot. You're looking pretty good, too. Alright. Let's immediately go through Canopic Jar Hoarder. And let's go for... I guess training. And then phalanxes. Lovely. And you'll pop into Settra's army. We will swap these guys into... I guess... Okay, we'll swap them in next turn. Oh! You did steal the Screaming Skull Catapult! I'm so happy. I have never been this happy. This is the first time. I have... I don't know, like 8,000 hours in this, like a ridiculous amount in this game. I have never managed to steal an artillery piece in my life, and finally, it happens. I don't know what to do with myself. I never thought this day would come. Anyway, it's glorious. It's only a Screaming Skull Catapult, but they're actually really nice, so yeah. Okay, wait, we need to save 5,000 gold? I think we should still have enough to get the iron mine. Gotta get these things running as well. Alright, well, whatever. We should also probably have a Tomb Prince ready to guard each one of the Lich High Priests, since they can't really protect themselves. But anyway, they can run away. There's that. Skip, skip, skip. And diplomacy. I haven't checked it in a few turns. We've been busy. Thunderhoof want to trade. No, they're in the necropolis of Numas, they're in the Khemrian desert. These guys are not to be subjugated, they're to be destroyed for their temerity. I would like to make Dunsali, though, the Wood Elves here, a vassal. They have access to some Wood Elf units, might be nice, but anyway, for now, in turn. What is this? When's the magic power reserve -5? Well, screw you too, game. That's unfortunate, but what can you do? I think I've read this one. Seeking the gift of regeneration, an imprudent cabal of young magic users has been dabbling in ogre gastromancy, but disaster strikes as they inadvertently summon the Great Maw itself. Smacking its lips with delight as the banquet laid before it, the Maw devours the hapless sorcerers where they stand and disappears with a satisfied belch. This arcane upheaval has sapped the winds of magic faction-wide. I don't think our sorcerers would be summoning the Great Maw, but whatever. Let's go for you. Vault of Nagash, 20 turns. Admittedly, we could wait until... Nah, it probably wouldn't actually save any time. 20 turns is a long time, but we could reduce this by 60% by getting to 100% public order. But it would take, what? It would take 10 turns to do it, so that would save us 10 turns. Yeah, so it changes nothing. Alrighty, well, let's build this stuff up while we're here, and that's basically all of our cash already, and I can upgrade you at least. And, well, we're not building that, at least not yet. We will need capacities of various kinds, but probably not in the main structure, but in the minor territories. For now, just build the money, and then delete it afterwards. And the same thing is true of this. Oh, let's go for the obelisk. Growth money everywhere. Get it up to 10k, and then that'll make a pretty big difference. Anyway, Settra, so you... Oh, you have too many units now, don't you? Screaming Skull Catapult. Maybe we should give it to Hakor. We can always trade Settra stuff later. Hakor, are you able to reach Hakor immediately? You are, by the looks of it, not quite. Can't quite tell. Give it a try. Hakor, you will want to maybe recruit some stuff. Alright, so first of all, trade the Screaming Skull to you. Beautiful. Hakor will maybe want a second Screaming Skull as well. You will want to build more ranged chariots, and I mean, I guess we have space for more melee chariots as well. Oh, you know what? Let's build some NEHEKHARA horsemen. Well, okay, soon. Let's build some NEHEKHARA horsemen soon. In fact, you know what? Take take a couple of these skeleton horse archers. Temporarily. Okay, yeah, now we really need that extra army. We have troop capacities to be getting on with. We could wake up the next lord, but it's going to take a while to get the rest of these, so I think we'll wait. Anyway, Prince Ratik, you're going over here. Oh, right, Settra's quest battle is here. I might as well start ahead towards it anyway. That'll be a cinematic battle. That'll be a proper cinematic battle. Yeah, alright. We got a plan, folks. We got a plan, and I like it. 2 more turns of worships, then we'll switch you to control bonus until you're maxed out, and then switch you out to growth. I think that's the way we do it. This unfortunately won't provide us any additional growth, but it's all good. Oh, and with Settra no longer there, the income has dropped a fair bit. But oh well. Skip, and gotta get towards that. Did I send the hero? Yeah, I did. Gotta get towards that quest battle. Alright, I'm curious about something. Does the Warband upgrade still cost money to upgrade? It does. Not much, but it does cost money. I was just curious. And we have the 3 NEHEKHARA horsemen now. These are going to go to Wakaf as soon as we awaken him. What's the canopic jar? Oh, plus 50? I was expecting like plus 500 from this. And we do get 5,000 gold, though. That'll give us the new army we've been hankering for, so we can get it up and running next turn. Settra, move here. And we'll swap units next turn, and then go. Alright, how many arranged chariots do we have? So we have 4 here, 5, and then 6, which is pretty solid. I guess we'll forego upgrading anything here so that we can get the new army up and running next turn, and then build more stuff in all of these places afterwards, which means that's a quick little end turn. Oh, you know what we could do? Maybe we could temporarily loan out the Hawk Legion of Settra, so that they can fight with Settra at least once before staying forever in another army. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, we'll put you here, we'll put you here, we'll wait the turn, and then we'll move on into the quest battle end turn. Rakav Dynasty destroyed. Well, that's lovely. I was going to declare war on them, but I guess now we don't need to. And we can send Settra to grab the Canal of Abundance while the other army picks up Mortis Road. Isn't it lovely? Oh, wait. Well, actually, not wait, because we can already upgrade this. Well, isn't that lovely? Alrighty, so, wait. I guess wait after all. So, Settra, you... Okay, we don't have enough units. Okay, lose the, I don't know, spears. Lose 4 of the spears. It's gonna bother me. You will take the archer chariots from Settra's army right now. We will put in the Bannerman. You will be given Stone Shaper to buff up the War Sphinxes. Yeah. The West, I guess Wrath of the Creator as well. The West, whether we main... Well, no, yeah, Settra should have a couple of big old constructs. Wait, I think there are some techs that share buffs between Tomb Guard and Hyro Titans, but not War Sphinxes. But the Sphinxes can at least somewhat keep up with the chariots. I'll give it some thought. Anyway, Tomb Prince, you can max out, I don't know, Tough as Nails training, it's all good. And then Settra, you have 1 extra unit again. For the love of... Alright, lose 1 of the Tomb Guard just for now. No, not to you, I lied. We'll trade you back. I just want the Hawk Legion of Settra for this one fight to get Settra's crown to fight with Settra. I guess I could have lost one of the Tomb Barks, but I like them in here. They're nice. Anyway, we're going for the quest, Crown of NEHEKHARA. And, ooh, that ain't bad. I probably should have given it a read, but we can give it a read after the quest battle. That's, there's probably reinforcements coming in, but we got Chaos Knights. The Giant is going to be a problem. Huh. That'll be an interesting fight, I'd wager. Let's do it. Settra's forces located those in possession of the Crown of NEHEKHARA, possibly thinking that the crown will protect them from the Imperishable's unending wrath. They are hidden in a forested area from which they believe a trap can be sprung. They are, of course, wrong.
Today, we dispatch these faithless barbarians, these petty thieves, in tribute to Jaff, the god of war and death. He will feast as the jackal dies and grow fat on their souls. For who dares stand before Settra in defiance of his will? I am the King of Kings, the Imperishable, and I will see my crown returned.
Alrighty, here we go. Once again, I know we saw them last battle, but you gotta admit that the Tomb Barks look pretty darn fantastic, especially when arrayed together with our other units. And it seems that the archers up there look like Tomb Guard archers rather than the regular skeleton archers based on their armor, so they will look pretty nice together with our sort of a main line of Tomb Guard. Anyway, we also have the Hawk Legion of Settra with us here for at least one fight. And it is so appropriate to see them fight with their lord. I'm thinking, though, in their own army, in the other army where they will be headlining, essentially, we can probably get them up to 60, maybe even higher than that speed, which is going to be real neat. They will fly across the battlefield about as fast as heavy cav do, and that should be pretty neat. Also wondering what kind of stats we can get them up to. Their melee defense is rather low, but we'll get it up there, I'm sure, as well. Anyway, I'm going to speed this up a teensy bit as we sort of form up and get ready to move on in. And what do we have here? Now, keep in mind, this is sort of an ambush. All of the units on the map here are hidden. None of them can be seen, so I decided to just go straight forward. I mean, that's the only thing you can do when you see no enemies, and it looks like this ambush will begin with a pair of hell cannons firing away at us, well positioned here, and in fact, surprisingly not firing any of their shots at the trees, and just passing through them. Several shots from those cannons do about 30% damage of Settra's HP, which is a fair bit, especially as he currently does not have regeneration, and I'm not sure whether we can get him it. Maybe if we can find some kind of regenerating armor. But anyway, for now, we're going to have to deal with those cannons. We fire back at them, of course, with our own artillery, but they waited long enough, and our units of Khemri Guard and Tomb Guard have started to take a massive amount of damage. 50% HP on these guys already, as those hell cannons are particularly nasty units. Settra will peel away, having tanked a few of those hell cannon shots to his face, and head directly for those cannon crews with the help of a couple of units of chariots. His Tomb Prince and one of the Tomb Barks is moving in as well. Oh, finally, one of those projectiles hits one of those trees, but Settra has at last arrived and closed the distance with the Chaos Dwarf and crew. Of course, the projectiles from the Casket of Souls continue raining down on the enemy below, and it does look like the enemy has kept a unit of Marauders with great weapons here as guards. Settra, of course, and doesn't care about all that, as he does have his Wrath of Tra ability, and will send a Marauder and Chaos Dwarf alike flying away from him in all directions. And looking pretty good while he does. And there we go, 1 or 2 more shots, but here come the chariots. Of course, they're not going to be particularly effective here, going uphill and into the trees. A lot of debuffs on them, but they're mostly here to just distract the enemy, make sure that those hell cannons cannot get another shot off. There's still a lot of enemies to contend with here, and our army has already been fairly decently damaged, at the very least to our elite-most units in the Khemri Guard, which have been so critical to the wins so far, and especially since Settra does not yet have his Chariot of the Gods. Anyway, and the Marauders here shouldn't be too much of an issue, as it's only a single unit, and they are Marauders, not Chaos Warriors after all, although the great weapons and the fragility of the Tomb King Chariots means that they can certainly dish some damage out, or could, before they routed and broke before the might of Settra. Now, we do have a unit of Chaos Knights sitting in the center of the battlefield, and I do believe they become visible. Like so. And just as they become visible, everybody starts moving these units, and these units, but it looks like not the monstrous units back there. Settra will head directly for the Chaos Knights in order to distract them as best he can, while the Chariots will of course peel away and try to chase down a few of those units. Settra looks so tiny. Those Chaos steroids, though, but he looks so tiny compared to the big horses. It's hilarious. Anyway, once he gets his chariot, he's not going to be so small, but it is kind of adorable. Anyway, big old hit from our own artillery. We can play it that game and just as well. Maybe not just as well as the 2 hell cannons, but well enough for our purposes. I'm going to get a few of those range shots off from their tomb bark as well, and maybe knock out a few of those marauders while they move towards us. In the meantime, Settra has forced those Chaos Knights into combat. The Tomb Prince as well as both of the tomb barks are pressing them and hopefully holding them in place so that they can't give chase to the chariots, who would otherwise get obliterated by the might of the Chaos Knights. It's a kind of a bad matchup. Otherwise, it looks like the rest of the enemy army is heading towards us, and another unit of Chaos Knights, which might be a little bit much, so we're probably going to have to back off, at least to some degree. First unit of Marauders has gotten destroyed, however the enemy has flanked us again, moving hidden through the tree line and crashing into our left flank. Fortunately, we kept enough Tomb Guard and Settra's Hawk Legion. Kept them back here so that they could protect that Casket of Souls. Since I didn't know what direction all of those enemies were coming from, I had to make sure that we had the protection available for the artillery piece. Alright, and it looks like the Khemrian War Sphinx is going to be quite helpful here, mincing those Marauders rather quickly, but with a unit of Chaos Warriors leading the Marauders, the units of... the Sphinx just moving through the screen. The units of Skeletons are going to take some time to deal with the enemy. On the bright side, the first unit of Chaos Knights has dropped to about 20% of their HP, though Settra himself is now down to 50% of his. He will be able to heal up at least a little bit with his Invocation of NEHEKHARA, I wish, with his spam of the various abilities and relying on the passive, I keep forgetting what the name of the passive is, of the Allure of NEHEKHARA. In the meantime, we have also found another unit of Chaos Knights. Briefly had to essentially trap it with the Tomb Prince, but obviously that goes 2 ways, and Chariots versus Heavy Cavalry is a terrible matchup, so the Tomb Prince is having a bad day. But he did allow our other infantry to close together with the Tomb Bark with the Chaos Knights, and slowly but surely we should be able to whittle them down. But yeah, facing off against heavily armored Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights and such, especially in the early game with Tomb Kings, without constructs to apply that armor-piercing weapon damage like the Ushabti might or something, is certainly something of an issue. Spokal Stalkers would have been really nice here as well, but hey, the Tomb Barks are there, applying their Khemri beetles and causing that lovely little Mortis Engine effect, and reducing the enemy's weapon damage by at least a little, though by the looks of it, the quest battle buffs them considerably more than the Khemri beetles debuff them. Settra continuing continuing to cast as he lays in with his halberd, up to 54 kills, and probably a decent bit of damage as well, since every knight kill is quite a bit, 25k damage. Our chariots have returned and smash into the back line of the piles of enemy marauders, who break as soon as the chariots smash into them, perhaps unsurprisingly, but the chariots are severely damaged, with one starting to melt away to this point. The chariots got ripped apart by this unit of marauder horsemen, who, though fragile, have those javelins that they toss for quite a bit of damage. And then, of course, they gave chase to the units of chariots while they did. And for the love of, could we just please get one level of the Realm of Souls game? Come on, man. Why are you holding out on us? Especially since it's a quest battle and we can't bring in another pile of units to help out. Huh. I think the Lich Priests, they have an ability to summon a unit of, from what I recall last time playing the Tomb Kings, the Lich Priests have the ability to summon a unit of random skeletons out of a skill, and what that does is it enables that unit to, you know, move in and then die and then help out with the Realm of Souls activation. Another reason to have a couple of those Lich Priests in the army. Anyway, it looks like finally both of the units of Chaos Knights are broken, and we're going to peel back and regroup a little bit. Some of the, well, actually a fair bit of the enemy will rout and rally, because the enemy is still keeping back their pile of monsters, led by the Lord, and of course still hidden in the forest, not knowing where they are. And we're just going to have to wipe out the rest of the enemies around here, and see if that activates those guys, or otherwise move out to find them. But probably a good idea to heal up and blob up at least a teensy bit, as it will enable us to cast a few spells with Settra, and thus get a little bit of that passive healing going. In lieu of the Realm of Souls, we really desperately need it, because undead without healing is not a particularly good place to be. Our units crumble, not rout, after all. Alrighty, well, everybody's waiting until we regroup, so we're going to speed this up a little bit, sending the Tomb Barks essentially ranging out ahead of the army, and there we go. The rest of them have grouped up, and it's time for Settra to do a little casting. The Tomb Bark will make sure that this Marauder unit shatters, rather than rallying, and there we go. All units other than this one have now shattered, and our Tomb Bark is out here looking for them. And it looks like it should be able to identify them and force them into some kind of activity, at least. That's the plan. Oh, don't tell me it's gonna go right past them. Come on, game. Wow. It didn't quite get close enough to find them there. Oh well, I'm gonna send out the other Tomb Bark to find them, and there we go. They get identified and they start moving, or perhaps when the last of the enemies essentially fled the battlefield, that's when they started moving. I'm not entirely sure, but we will have to deal with them. Armored Chaos Trolls are absolutely not to be underestimated, especially with that quest battle buff significantly increasing their weapon strength, 231, heavily armored, and we don't have really any anti-large available to us. Eventually, our Tomb Guard will be probably more halberd-based than sword and board-based. But until we get there, we're just going to have to deal. The Giant, of course, is going to be a big issue as well. Quite literally a big issue. Oh, wow. That is a pretty big buff in terms of the quest spell. Plus 50 damage, 908 weapon strength. Wow. Hitting almost twice as hard as the Khemri and War Sphinx, and smacking that Tomb Bark. We're going to have to back off. It fortunately does have decent resistances, but let's not allow the hits to do too much. Anyway, Settra himself, of course, not scared of a mere giant and will move towards him. Pretty much every single unit in this battle has towered over Settra. So the Giant is not really much different there. And ooh, nice little stagger from the Khemri and War Sphinx attacking him. Now the Khemri and War Sphinx does definitely look pretty darn big compared to the Giant, being on all fours and all that. And ooh, I saw the blood effect from biting the head off one of the infantry units, but obviously I don't know where that blood came from, because that was one of the Tomb Guard units. Maybe it was actually just sand or dust or whatever, bone dust. Alright, Giant's gonna roar, and frankly, the Giant's in pretty bad shape. It may have a ton of missile resistance, but getting mobbed like this by all of our units and hit by the Khemri and War Sphinx, not a Necro Sphinx perhaps, but Sphinx enough for our purposes, and will basically bring the Giant down. Trolls have arrived here and chasing after one of the other Tomb Barks, one of the Tomb Barks specifically that was looking for the hidden units, but it looks like these are all the units that remains, and with the Giant broken, the Trolls will quickly shatter as well after losing just a tiny bit of HP. Trolls, of course, notoriously low in leadership, even when insanely buffed by the AI. And with that, despite the pretty severe damage taken and the close victory, the battle is ours. And definitely one of the nice things about fighting quest battles early. I do admittedly like to save the quest battle reward for later when we can get the bonus control, you know, as much effect as possible, but fighting them early means having much tougher fights, and that's always a fun thing. All right, there we go. A very, very nice battle and a rather tough one at that. That little ambush with the hell cannons that the enemy made was absolutely monstrous, heavily damaging the Kepler Guard and our Tomb Guard, and somewhat damaging even several chariots, and taking like a third of Settra's HP as well. Definitely got to watch out for those hell cannons. Otherwise, our chariots obviously had a pretty darn bad matchup against Chaos Knights. No matter how much we buff them, they will never be able to fight a unit of heavy cavalry, and probably not melee, or medium cavalry either in melee in that manner. And this is one of the battles where we would have been better off using ranged chariots, despite the lower melee stats, just to sort of pincushion the Chaos Knights, the monsters, the trolls, etc., etc., rather than closing in. At the end of the day, though, we still managed to, well, carry said day. Our Tomb Barks, I'm sure, did very well. 17k damage, 14k damage, and 8k. Okay, less so for you. 28k on our Khemri and War Sphinx, solid as well. And, well, the infantry were there to hold ground, and once again failed to get us that Realm of Souls. Okay. Someday. Anyway, endless march for us, and a crown of NEHEKHARA for Settra. As well as soon as we do that, there we go. Oh, we did get the bonus casualty or punishment rate and the control plus 25 for all provinces. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have built this right now. Nonetheless, it'll be fine, because this is going to go up, but we're probably still not going to save more than a couple of turns, and we'd lose a bunch of money from canceling it. All good, I think. Anyway, let's give this a read. Settra surveys the world around him and finds it wanting. All will submit to his rule, all will serve the King of Kings. But a king requires a crown, and his has been stolen by tomb-defiling Northmen as he slept away the ages. It must be recovered. His agents bring word of a place deep in the distant Icetooth Mountains, where Norscan savages brazenly display wit and wealth far above their barbaric station. Though they know they harbor a relic of great significance, they cannot begin to understand its true import. The ruler of the Four Horizons will teach them, though in death they will not remember his merciless lesson. So, this gives us a lovely little passive ability, charge bonus, base weapon and armor-piercing weapon damage for those cavalry charges. Character aura leadership actually will work nicely with our increased leadership aura size. Don't care about the wound recovery time, don't much care about the chance of interception of enemies, though if we fight Skaven, the ward save is going to be really nice, however, for when we're on that big old chariot of the gods. But now that we have no capability of healing because of the crown taking the slot of the enchanted item, it does mean that we're going to need to also grab this talisman. We're going to need to pick up that potion of healing trait from oh right, Khemri. Oh wait, no, not right. Actually, yes, right. Upgrade Khemri Tomb City. We're going to need to pick that up from one of the Lich Priests. It was one of these guys, right? Not Penitent, this. Custodian. Elixir of Might. Huh. I really doubt you're going to be a fighty Lich Priest, but the healing potion for Accompanying Lord is going to be useful. Anyway, the thing we want here is raise a new dynasty. 10,000 gold, 800 canopic jars, but always worth it. Beautiful. Alright, what do we got in terms of interesting lords? We do have that treacherous guy that I was eyeing earlier, and Resurgent Memories is good again. Yeah, let's do the treacherous fella. Alright, and I believe, let's just take a quick look here. Where are scorpions? Tomb Guard, no. There's a buff to scorpions, right? Don't tell me there isn't a specific scorpion-specific buff. I guess we could just combine them with Tomb Guard. Huh, there isn't. Well, Treacherous will just have to do... I think you can get heroes that buff scorpions further. Oh, wait, all... some things, I don't remember if it's Necrotech, have armor of... where's our Necrotech? A moment. I will figure this out. What do we have here? Oh, Disciple of Sock. +5 speed for all Tomb Scorpions faction-wide, melee attack +1 for all Tomb Scorpions faction-wide. So at the very least, the speed is worth it, so we should get it up a little bit, so now you giggle, and then deal with it after. Anyway, Settra, you will now trade the Hawk Legion back to this fella, who's going to be using it. You can... Oh, good lord, I forgot what I did here. Wait. You have the Chariots of Range, you... Okay, you know what? Trade the... This is gonna get confusing. Trade these guys. At least for a second. I need to figure this out. You will take the Hawk Legion, putting you up to 15 out of 20. Oh, I accidentally did not give you the other Tomb Guard. There you go. And then you have the NEHEKHARA Horsemen, who are technically probably going to go to Wakaf, but we need... Oh, we're actually rather close to 1,000 Canopic Jars again. Well, isn't that lovely? Alright, well, we'll certainly make good use of that. Then... Oh, funnily enough... Oh, we can actually now get rid of this, can't we? Because we can build the Pyramidion now. Fated Pyramidion, this thing. And we'll want to build one up every turn to tier 3 as we upgrade these as well. Alright, fair enough. Get rid of this one. I'm glad I didn't upgrade it. Alrighty, and then you can at least maybe temporarily have... Did we not have a NEHEKHARA Horseman like a regular? Oh, there you are. Alright, you take the NEHEKHARA Horseman and grab the Skeleton Archers. And that more or less maxes you out for now. At the very least, enough to be functional. You have a... Well, you have enough. We will need heroes and such. Now the question is how we send you. I think maybe you can go for the lizards while Settra moves down here. I guess depending on what the lizards have done. Panet, you will stay with Settra, and you have something... Oh, you have additional skeleton and horse archers. You know what? Trade them to this guy and grab the chariot. And... Since you're going to be kind of following Settra, you don't really need to be a super functional army on your own, so that's going to be fine. Let us build... oh, at the very least a couple more spears for now. And we'll figure out what else later. You can get more chariots. They, a decent amount of them will be sacrificed after all. Maybe a couple more horse archers as well. Like so. Alright, it looks good to me. Now, Settra, you've leveled up again, meaning let's get Conqueror of the Past for the... Control +1 for all provinces. I mean, our control will be maxed out, but I also don't really want it to drop. On the other hand, Trampler of Age is a significant buff. Let's do that first. You, max out training. And then you will start increasing everybody's mobility. Alright, good enough, Panet. You have Canopic Jar Hoarder maxed out, and you will now need to grab Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blade. No, you already have a basic version of it, so get Nerus instead. And then Hakor didn't level up. Alright, there we go. We spent our money, we got our extra army. We can probably spend a little bit more cash. Probably need to get these up and running to tier 3. Alright, well it is more money every turn, so get them up and running as well, and there we go. Let us now end the turn. Are we able to delete you? With the +30. Well, you know what, stay there until it's maxed out, and then we'll pop you into one of these armies then. Alright, looks good. End turn. Alright, what do we have here? Banner of the Hidden Dead Vanguard in stock. Alright, and all we have to do is recruit nothing because we just got it. Beautiful. Huh, that might actually be a solid choice for Wakaf as well. He's the Desert Fighter after all. One turn until first Dynasty plans are up and running. You gotta remember the techs will be powering up our armies fairly significantly. So that'll be pretty good. Obviously, early game Tomb King units are rather weak, but we do have the advantage of tons and tons of units. In Cold Blood, we'll do that in a second. Settra, I would like you to go into raiding stance and go right to the Canal of Abundance, and then pan it. Can you do the same? Looks like just a little bit short. Alright, fine. Channel then. Settra can raid for 59 money, and ow. I did not trade you or allow you to heal fully, did I? Wait. I guess we'll want to maybe heal then. Alright, go into Entomb Beneath the Sands. Did I forget something? Huh.
Settra does not serve.
Oh, right. The 3 extra spaces, I think, were supposed to be Tomb Guard. We also, of course, have the additional chariots, which we can pop into Settra's army for now until he can recruit more Tomb Guard, which now he cannot. But with the upgrades, he will be able to. All right, so there we go. I got very confused there for a second. Let us upgrade first to start the Great Obelisk here, and then we'll start with the Fated Pyramidion here next turn, or depending on how much this grows, but shortly as well. You can be upgraded shortly as well. You know what, let's do it now and get a couple sepulchral stalkers in our army, perhaps to the desert army. It kind of makes sense for them as well. Diplomacy check real quick. Zlatland, sorry, you're about to die. And I think we're good to go. Alright. And these guys have moved away from the Canal of Abundance. You are at war with Zlatland, so we'll maybe ask them to join war before attacking you. And do have to be wary of them crossing the desert to the Great Pyramid of Ketep, though. Ketep, rather. Maybe you could send Panet down there. I'll think about it. For now, on turn. Alright, first Dynasty plans complete. Okay, yeah, no, can't awaken yet. Be at war with Dun Saali. This would immediately give us the 250. Wait. In Cold Blood hasn't disappeared, which will... yes. Alright, so... Declare war... Now, join war. Wait. Everything is fine. Join war against Zlatland. For money. Barely any, mind you, but for money. That will put us to 250 jars, which will enable us to walk off of the first dynasty. Just walk it off. And Hakor, you will proceed to Mortis Road next turn, so you'll spend the turn raiding. And don't tell me the rats are going to take it. Actually, I just guess it doesn't really matter whether they do. We'll just wipe them out if they do. I guess we'll find out. Alrighty, walk off. You... and get Lord of NEHEKHARA immediately, or Hakor rather. And we'll need to quickly move into Sun-Scorched Bones. We desperately need the additional defenses on the NEHEKHARA warriors, as they're going to be fragile. They can fight clan rats, certainly, but otherwise, they'll be pretty weak. Anyway, you... But we can't ask these guys. We can't ask both of them to declare war at the same time. Declare war on Wisoran. Like so. And we'll see where his armies are. Alright, you head to the Canal of Abundance. Panet, you're going to trade Settra some of his chariots back, at least briefly. And we'll wait on some extra Tomb Guard. Alright, move. And, ooh, there's a level up Settra again as well. Give him... wrong ones. Give him these 3. They may as well level up in Settra's army. Where they'll be, significantly more buffed as well. Yeah, alright. And that'll resolve. In the late game, most likely Settra will want to switch to all ranged chariots as opposed to any melee chariots, and maybe use the melee chariots as reinforcements, but anyway, for now, we can obviously auto-resolve this. And, really? That many? Okay, sure. And occupy. Start getting those canopic jars back. Cultist of Assyrian, collect income. Oh, it does have a little port here, which means another tomb bark free. I like it. Let's go for Worship of Construction Reduction and save the money or save the turn. I'm going to say save the turn. It's only 10%, not a big enough deal to worry about. Cultist of Assyrian is fine, though he will need the additional... Ooh, Khemri War Sphinx on Settra and Canal of Abundance. I can never finish a thought, ever. But all good. Alright, our money is rising. Something else is rising. Okay, anyway, Fated Pyramidion for you, and then Ancient Stoneworks, or whatever it's called, the Refurbished Workshop here as well. And produces a little bit of marble, which ain't bad. The loss of canopic jars is unfortunate, but we'll deal. Pyramid, you will briefly build the mortiferous sanctuary in the Grand Ossuary and then immediately switch to control until you're maxed out. Other places, control is looking pretty okay. We do have to watch out for these orcs attacking us, so we may want to send an army out there, depending. Wakaf will be on field next turn. I wish I remembered exactly what he buffs. I feel like he buffs NEHEKHARA warriors and NEHEKHARA horsemen. I could be wrong though, but for now just build these guys. Anything that takes capacity, really. Although actually skeleton horsemen are a terrible kind of waste. You know what, just build spears. We'll wait. I mean, I guess you can level NEHEKHARA horsemen into, or skeleton horses into NEHEKHARA horses, but we need capacity for them anyway, which admittedly will increase with this, but anyway. Anyway, I believe the rest of this is good. Let's get some cheap buildings up and running just to increase the amount of cash that we generate, and otherwise get ready to move to next turn. Samtik, you're good, although we will delete you and put you into an army in a maybe next turn or something, and otherwise we're free to skip an end turn. Alright, the walk-up of the first dynasty has awoken. Nemesis crown far away, and Settra has a better crown. But anyway, you unfortunately have to be replaced by walk-up. Alright, so let's check out what this does, what he does exactly. So you are going to get replaced by... You walk off. Wait. Nah, I was wondering whether we could start having you hoard jars. But unfortunately not the case. Anyway, passage to the Soul Realm, I guess, but otherwise replace the Lord with Walk-Off of the First Dynasty. Alright, now, Walk-Off. So, yes, I believe I'm correct in the fact that you are unable to not be on foot. So, kind of interesting. You buff missile strength for skeleton archers and horses faction-wide. Oh, nice. Weapon strength for Necropolis Knights, NEHEKHARA horses, carrion, skeleton. Okay, so basically all cav, not... unit capacity for archers. All cav, but not chariots, unfortunately. Otherwise, let's see. Removes wounds, so you don't do anything crazy. You have the faction-wide buffs, but otherwise you're free to do whatever. You have range and increase of melee attack when fighting in the desert, which we will be doing for a fair amount of time. This, I think, means that you're a good carrier for these guys, the skeleton horse archers, so it will certainly make you use them to harass enemies. Maybe combine them with a pile of skeleton spears to hold the ground or something like that. We did want to have an army that was sort of based around that. Maybe we'll put a couple of sepulchral stalkers in your army just so that I can have some on field and, you know, just be happy for once. Anyway, the... Tsar the Faceless, is it? Melee attack when fighting in desert and 20 speed when in own or allied territory. Granted, this one's absolutely terrible, but because Wakaf of the First Dynasty, who repelled the border, the nomads, and is peerless master of desert warfare, he should worship Tsar the Faceless. It only makes sense. Oh, interesting. He does have a banner of eternal flame, eh? And fire resistance. So in theory, we could make him a little bit fiery if we wanted to. Interesting. And we'll probably need at least some heavier cav to protect him here. It does mean that these guys can... Okay, I'll think about the way that we do that. Ooh. Now we could attack you, but then the rats might immediately attack us. How much damage would we take? Probably a decent bit. The enemy's got pterodon riders and such. We could risk it, though. Ultimately, the death of this guy's army doesn't really matter. If it does die, it's getting arrows. And we'll think about it. For now, let's get Settra. Oh, he's just out of range. Unfortunate. I do wonder where these guys' armies are. You're not able to reach this, are you? Would have been weird if you could travel further than Settra anyway. Anyway, you're going to go into Entomb Beneath the Sands, which is not letting you heal all that much, surprisingly. Settra, if you go into raiding, you cannot go there anyway. Alright. Go into ambush. And then maybe you... Well, Entombed allows us to constantly heal a little bit more. Wow, you are not healing... Why are you healing so poorly right now? What the heck? That shouldn't be the case. You're in a green territory with a massive constant casualty or punishment rate. Doesn't matter, I'm just curious. Alright, well, tramplers or whatever. Necrotech, do you increase mobility further and get indomitable will, and the prince will go for embalmed and elixir and ceremonial bandages. Beautiful. Alright, you will recruit for... Is that the only thing I was building? Let's get some more spears. Lots more spears. Wait, no. Sepulchral Stalkers. That's next turn? Alright, so we gotta wait for them. Alright, fair enough. Let's go for the Crumbling Temple, and we will need the first of the Undead Quarrymen. Every little bit of extra cash will count. Alright, then let's see. What else can we afford here? You are going up to tier 2. You guys will need to be upgraded. We're poorly defended in the south for now, but that'll change eventually. We also got to remember we will want to build the Pyramid of Settra here as soon as we have the requisite 12,000 gold to spare, which is a fair bit. For now, let's grab Unremitting Devotion. It's only one turn to build it, then we'll switch to Runic Inscriptions, and then we'll start sort of going partially through these. I'm also kind of tempted to grab this just for the additional chariot capacity. Don't really care for the warrior capacity, but if we have a spare 2.5k. Anyway, do we let the rats do this? What's the likelihood that they raise the place? You know, sort of sit right here. I want to see if the rats attack. And then maybe we can attack them after if that's the case, and if not, we shall see. Watch them attack us instead. I would be pretty interested in that. Anyway, Elite Goddess Tribe will want to non-aggress with us, but we don't want to deal with them as yet, and everybody else I think is fine. Huh. Just out of curiosity, 6,000 is good, don't get me wrong, but it's not as much as it was in the early game, so we can freely skip and see what happens. Cowardly rats decided not to move on, and they could escape from us. Let's stand right beside them here and see what they do next turn. Again, I don't want this guy to die. Oh, wait, what do we have here? Blessed Legion and King Nehesh's Scorpion Legion. That's fine. What do we have here? Upgrade any building to tier 5 or settlement to tier 5. Yeah, working on it. Runic Inscriptions for now. Tempted to unlock another Necrotech or possibly even a Mage to steal tech, which would be quite helpful. But we shall see. For now, I wonder where these guys' army is. Hopefully they're not just crossing like this. You know what? Somtic. Go to the edge of this territory. I'd like to see what's going on out there. And this drops it to -2, unfortunately, public order. Really? Oh, we need another sepulcher here. Okay, fine. Build a mausoleum here then. And then you will act as a scout. I guess you do have a purpose after all. Though it may be. You will attack Settra Temple with the barely existent garrison. Actually, is there any reason not to use Settra for this? It's not like you can move too much further. Well, maybe a little. How many territories do these guys have? 4. 1, 2, 3. Is this the other territory they have? Wait, yeah, they have the full territory here. Alright, fair enough. Ash Crossing, Settra Temple, yeah, okay. Go here. Reinforce. Oh, but in order to not take attrition... Wait, we won't take attrition here, we're fine. Alright, so yeah, you go here. You'll auto resolve this. Double checking any chariots die. Nope, but a bunch of Tomb Guard did, but what can you do until we have capacity for more? Just leave them alone. And occupy the place, and don't collect. Skeleton Chariot, we can ignore this. I wonder how much this would have been worth to these guys. Settra Temple. 3.7k. I was gonna say, maybe we should just trade it and then, you know, move back northward to take it back from them immediately after. It is a viable strategy. 3.7k isn't too much, though. We take all of this. Maybe this is a decent idea, although these guys have taken Sphinx of Fa, so maybe their main stack is here, so we probably wouldn't be able to send a follower lord here. You know, I'll think about it. Let's delete this and maybe we will do it that way, I mean. Alright, you get another incantation, and then you can start buffing up the garbage units. You can also do one of these, and then pop in the missing spears. Actually, you can get more chariots if you want. Once we have additional capacity, that is. Or not capacity, recruitment capacity, similar. Similar but different. Anyway, Settra, you will march on down to Springs of Eternal Life. We are hoping to find the enemy main stack, and then you will keep an eye on any enemies. And the same way that the others will keep an eye on the rats. Wakaf. Now, you, unfortunately, I think will need to swap some units. We don't have enough melee here. And these need to be replaced by skeleton horse archers who we don't have additional capacity for, so we'll just have to deal with it. Oh, we do have another NEHEKHARA horseman, though. Let's do this. 2 Spuckle Stalkers. We will delete one of these archers. Let's get the NEHEKHARA horseman to pop into that other army. Some of these guys will be replaced. The skeleton horsemen, frankly, they're not going to serve a purpose here. Let's just delete them. And we could get another regular NEHEKHARA warrior, but I think we're not needed. Or spears. Oh, we could get 4 Sepulchral Stalkers. Oh, wow, I did not realize that. 4 Sepulchral Stalkers it is. That sounds like some heckin' desert fighting to me. Get those and your army will be good to go already. Fantastic. Skip, 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 and turn. Alright. Petrified Palm of SF. Yes, we're heading over there. An unusual location in the Great Pyramid of Settra. What do we have here? A Cult of Pleasure. Oh, this thing I believe we need to burn down. Yeah, definitely. And 6,000 gold is a ton. Okay, so we can't do that as yet, so we'll give it a turn or two. Hopefully it doesn't screw us over in the meantime. Settra, you have to go into, I was about to say raiding stance, but frankly, probably not going to be able to achieve too much with it anyway. Alright, well, we have no choice. We have to head to the Petrified Palm of SF, so head on down. Gotta find where their main stack is. And then Panach, you are going to follow. Oh, do you need to decorruptify? Maybe we could switch you. Well, actually, it's gonna take too long that way. Settra, we will maybe switch you to that stance next turn. Alright, looks good to me. How much is this worth to you again? Sedja Temple. You don't have enough money. Is there anything interesting we could do here? I think he doesn't hate us. Some undead units would be nice, but again, not here. This is not the right location for them. You must die, rats. Let us kill you. Declare war by asking nobody, apparently. Alright, fine, fair enough. Hakor, time to see whether you can pull this off. Declare war. And if you can't, well, that's life. Unlife. Undeath. Go. He'll run, but he won't be able to run far enough, which is why we waited. Worth it, in my opinion, already. Well, assuming that we win the fight. Remains to be seen. Let's find out. Close victory, medium casualties. It's clan rats versus basic, by and large, skellies. 1 plague claw versus 1 screaming skull, though they do have some storm vermin, and we'll just have to hope that the Osirian's legion can handle them. Go. Alrighty, here we go, the first of probably many Skaven armies arrayed against us here. The presence of the nearby Skaven will probably mean that we'll be running around fighting them for a fair while. Fortunately, we now do have multiple armies to do so, and, well, hopefully we have a good time. The Hawk Legion of Settra under Hakor. Hakor's Hawks. Hakor's Hawkmen. Something like that for one of the... the units of Hawk Legion names, but anyway. And the battle will begin with a bit of an artillery, I would say shootout, but we're targeting the enemy with our screaming skulls and trying to knock out a few of those artillery pieces, but the enemy artillery is looking like it wants to go for our cavalry. Perhaps with good reason. Our units of skeleton horse archers have begun to annoy the enemy on the flanks, doing pretty solid damage to those clan rats, I gotta admit. 2 other units of skeleton horse archers were vanguard deployed behind the enemy army and are now attacking that plague claw catapult to help those screaming skulls. And I just gotta reiterate, I am so freaking happy about stealing one of the screaming skull catapults, especially since we haven't upgraded to the 3rd tier, the building that allows us to construct them, though funnily enough, if it only provides 1 capacity, I imagine that it'll be a while before we get a 2nd one. Well, Or at least it'll be a bit. Anyway, over on the left flank and the right flank, the same thing is repeating itself. In fact, we've essentially surrounded the enemy army with our cav and are annoying them from every side, pushing at least a portion of their force to our main line while we bombard them with artillery and leading away, well, I don't know, half a dozen units with our cav. Cushioning them and finding the only unit of gutter runners available to the enemy and running them down with a with a pincer essentially attack from our 2 units. Ooh, the enemy does hit us back, however, dropping a plague of Nurglitch upon us. Huh, interesting. Well, that hurt a little bit, but fortunately for us, the gutter runner slingers aren't in particularly good shape. The enemy moves towards us with clan rats and, more importantly, storm vermin, but specifically we were shadowing the sword and board storm vermin with our Syrian's Legion of the Netherworld. Great unit with that ethereal on them, and certainly capable of dealing with a single unit of storm vermin. Settra's Hawk Legion of Settra, whatever, is also in the middle of the fight and helping out at holding the storm verms and fighting all those clan rats, which they should be able to overrun. There we go. We do have one other unit of storm vermin on the field, and that is the halberdier unit. We've been attempting to keep them away from the enemy army with the judicious application of screaming skulls to the face, but it looks like they have managed to at last close the distance. Oh well, maybe just a couple more skulls for the storm vermin, but we gotta be careful about dishing out too much damage to our own NEHEKHARA warriors, as they're pretty fragile. Over in the back lines, we continue to irritate and destroy a rather decent amount of enemy units with our cav. Once again, the skeleton horse archers are certainly proving to be a menace. They don't do a crazy amount of damage, but it's the early game, and as a light cav, they're pretty decent. And they're certainly putting in the work. And of course, we do have 2 chariots in this army as well, and they have been charging enemies repeatedly. Any enemies that get softened up, essentially, by the skeleton horse archers, dropping down a half HP, start losing a little bit of morale, then get charged by the chariots, who, with that charge, crash through them, cause enough of a morale shock for them to rout, and then the unit is destroyed. Pretty effective strategy so far, and it looks like the enemy army is pretty much done. The bounce power is shifted to about 90% in our favor, and even though this is an infantry-heavy army, we've barely any losses, or at the very least not enough to get anywhere near activating that Realm of Souls. And I can't believe it. It's already, it feels, well, I don't remember what turn it is, but it's been a while and we haven't gotten to summon Ushapti a single time. Not enough losses, man. Oh well, what can you do? We'll get there. As we spread out further and further, we'll start meeting enemies that could really put a dent in our numbers. Kugath is relatively nearby after all, but anyway, with that, the rats break. The cavalry did a fantastic job here and sort of obliterated maybe a third of the enemy army, and then the rest just weren't enough in terms of numbers, which the Skaven rely upon, to overrun our infantry. Fun fight. Alrighty, there we go. A brutally efficient divide and conquer. Sort of sneaky desert tactics that Walkoff's army is supposed to be using, but again, we were going to put the skeleton horse archers in his army, so it worked well enough for our purposes here. We got plenty of damage, 27k, 20k on these guys. Certainly like these guys a lot more than the sort of bog standard skeleton archer units, although we will of course have some of those in an army or two. We also get 18k, or 18k, I wish, 1800 gold, nearly 1900 as a reward. We could heal to full, but I think we'll take that instead. Also, Settra's Legion or Hawk Legion of Settra living up to their name, 31,000 damage, of course with inflated HP damage dealt, or damage dealt due to fighting rats. Anyway, Endless March. Beautiful. I take it you won't be able to immediately return to fight the lizards, but you can do so next turn, and you can, you know what, maybe we're better off healing. Oh, Should have just popped into Entomb Beneath the Sands, but no longer can. Alright, I think we have enough HP to deal with those guys anyway. Anyway. Prince Psalmtic, stay there. Let's see what we've got in terms of building. Canal of Abundance. But it looks like you are unfortunately going to be in need of public order buffs, although, you know what, uncollect your income. It's not much, and I'd rather go for the growth building until you're maxed out to tier 3, since you're a single territory, and then deal with other stuff after. That's you, Mortuary House, and the level 1 will already give you the maximum amount anyway. Now, I guess we'll go for the Mortuary Sanctum here. And we can upgrade the next level of the Memorial Masons here to generate more cash. And ooh, first Necropolis Knights, should we desire them. Certainly something to think about there. We did want more capacities of various kinds, didn't we? Tomb Guard was one issue. Admittedly, it would mean making less money in this province, but right now, at least, we're using Khemri as more of a military province. Probably use a couple of Tomb Scorpions and Ushabti as well. This will give us, wait. Here, oh, you're not a tier 3. Yeah, you know what, let's build the Tomb Guard building first. We'll delete it after, or replace the Regnant Catacombs here, but for now, we need the additional little bit of capacity. And let's also... Pit of Kemsenef is the furthest away. We could actually wall it up with a desert lookout. It only takes one turn to build, after all. And I think if these guys declare war on us, we'll immediately do so, so we'll leave this one space free rather than immediately upgrading it. Probably safer to also upgrade the territories here, so we'll upgrade the Mausoleum. Though that won't increase the amount of money we generate per turn. Maybe we're better off upgrading all the green structures first and then dealing with that after. So let's do that first. All of them, everywhere. And then next turn we'll deal with them after. And we have moved out of here. You know what? I'll think we'll take the money. We're going to reconquer Sejet Temple, so I wonder if he'll have more money next turn. Can we do anything interesting with joining war? Join war against Necrarch Brotherhood. Joining war against Clan Phlegm. Does that do anything at all for us? Not really. Oh. Wow, okay, wait. Are you able to break your non-aggression pact with the... Clan Claw. Yes, you are. What about trade agreement? No. You're not able to break any other agreements. What about joining our war against Necrarchs? No dice. What about joining our war against Clan Phlegm? Similarly, no dice? Alright, well, we'll take the money. We'll take that temple back next time we come around. And we will find a Vampire Counts faction somewhere. Oh, you know, Barrow Legion is a good option. They're allied with all the Southern Realms and against the rats up here, so we send an envoy up here, ally with Kemmler, and get vampire units, specifically Mortis Engines and Corpse Carts, and then we could use for our own out of these guys. And hopefully, considering they're allied with all the Southern Realmers and kind of locked into the mountains, that won't have any kind of real negatives to it. Finally, a use for Kemmler's penchant for allying those guys constantly. Now, we do need to keep space for Great Pyramid of Settra, but we can remove one of these things out of here, so it's not a big deal. What do we want in terms of the next capacities? 5,000 gold for a Necrosphinx. It's not horrible. Take 2 turns to build. Ooh, our first Bone Giant. Tempting. We can't afford either right now, and these things should go into minor settlements rather than major settlements, so I guess we'll wait. Ooh, we could do our first Hyro Titan. I gotta go with the Hyro Titan. They're just too cool. So we'll do that. For now, though, we will still upgrade the green structure here, and I guess the Monoliths of the Great Plains. Should be able to rack up that 5k rather quick. End turn. Alright, a brutal business. This is a bad time to get it. The plus 20 base weapon damage increase massively increases the capabilities of zombies, which we're about to be fighting in decent numbers. Settra, I think you're gonna have to forego healing, because you're kind of in a bad way in terms of reaching the place in 2 turns. Where the heck is their main army? We know these factions, the vampire counts aren't broken, especially since Manfred's up to 7 territories now, so he's doing pretty well. It's the Lizardmen and enemy Tomb Kings, which we don't really have anymore anyway, that are affected. I don't know. Oh, whatever. Yeah, we'll ignore this for now. You, I guess, will have no choice but to march stance over here. What's the corruption rate at? Oh, it's pretty high. So we'll want to take a couple of territories before we bother switching to the corruption reduction stance. Although, you could do it right now. No, you can only channel. Alright, fair enough. Alright, Prince Psamtik, I guess you're not needed here anymore. Go back to this place where you can provide the additional control to counteract the negative control here. And, oh! Great Pyramid of Settra is already ready up to get good. That's another good reason to spam the Grand Ossuaries everywhere just to be able to upgrade these. Granted, that took all of our money, so that's life, but we will deal. Oh, we also want to upgrade the Temple of the Sun. Also, Mr. Hackor, well, let's start to... Well, Jeff's Incantation of Curse Blades, and then we start bumping up the capabilities of those NEHEKHARA warriors. You will proceed into, I guess, regular stance. Let's take Mortis Road for ourselves, shall we? Is this worth fighting? I haven't fought lizards. And it'll be a while until we do again. Might be fun. Why not? Why not? We gotta be careful about losing this one unit, but otherwise I'm sure we'll be fine. The Pterodon Riders, and the Cold One Riders, and the Croxagores. Alright, yeah, there's some decent stuff in there. Why not? Alrighty, here we go. Gotta have that variety in foes. This particular episode, we faced off against Chaos, we faced off against Rats, and it's now time to fight some Lizards. And more likely than not, for the end of the episode, I'm sure Settra will reach at least one of the Vampire Count's armies, so we should be fighting some of them as well. Variety, spice of life, all that. Anyway, we're going to start with Vanguard deploying our Skeleton Horse Archers and moving them to attack the Pterodon Riders. Now, these are not the Fire Leech Bolas, which are absolutely devastating to Tomb King armies early. They can obliterate the fragile skeletons and skeleton horses and whatnot. That said, the Pterodon Riders, the sort of snipey javelin chucking variant, are pretty solid at dishing out damage to things like skeleton horse archers and could probably easily kill our Screaming Skull Catapult or our Lord if it weren't for the withering-ish fire on the Skeleton Horse Archers. Now, we do have to be extremely wary of the enemy Cold One Riders here who are giving chase to us, but we do have a unit to counter them, or the best unit that we have, I should say, to counter them. We're going to send Usirian's Legion of the Netherworld towards them and bank on that massive 75% physical resistance from them being ghostly, to make sure that they take no damage from the devastating charge of the Cold Ones. And there we go, with the Cold Ones severely damaged by the charge and pincushioned by the range units. And we now give chase to them with our NEHEKHARA horsemen, and this cavalry unit is done. Alright, well, that paid off already. In the meantime, the enemy army has realized that its cavalry has been destroyed, and it is now annoyed enough to start moving towards us with the droves of skinks. Now, the enemy does have a decent amount of the skink cohorts with javelins, and we definitely have to be careful about those guys, as they can dish out massive amounts of damage if we're not careful. And of course, pretty much every single unit in the enemy army, skink skirmishers, chameleon skinks, and the javelins all have poisons, so all of our cav units will be slowed down while they're taking damage from them. Gotta be careful about that as well. And once again, I just gotta reiterate, I love fighting in the Land of the Dead because, once again, the desert maps, they just look fantastic. Partly because of all the pyramids and the Tomb King craziness going on, but also I love having visible fights instead of super dark battles. Unless you've got nice armies that glow a lot, dark battles hide too much. Anyway. Ooh, listen to those javelins smacking into those spears as the Hawk Legion of Settra maybe suffers 5 to 10% of their damage as they run or weather the storm, while the rest of our NEHEKHARA warriors close the distance and begin the fight with the skink cohorts of various types. Our melee cav have moved in the background, trying to get around at least some of the enemy, but generally speaking, just trying to engage as many of the enemy range units as possible. First of the enemy Pterodon Riders have also been destroyed at this point, and the other one will be a main focus for us. We are taking a fair bit of damage. Weapon strength is massively increased on all of the even sort of non-fighty skinks, 50 weapon strength on chameleon skinks, thanks to that event we had. So what can you do? Base weapon damage 44, which means that the NEHEKHARA horsemen are having a little bit of a tough time fighting even the basic units. On the bright side here, between the Syrians, Legion of the Netherworld, once again taking on the toughest of the enemy foes, being the enemy Kroxigors, not allowing the Kroxigors to lay into us with their splash damage, or at least not allowing them to sort of do too much damage with it. That unit has been taken care of. In the meantime, the enemy has chosen to use all 3 of its skink chiefs to try to assassinate our lord, who has dropped down to 10% of his HP and is slowly starting to melt away. We're healing him up a little bit and are now going to mob those darn skink chiefs with as many of the free Hawk Legion and other NEHEKHARA warriors as we can. Good job, little guys. That would have been pretty cool if they had managed to kill him off, to be perfectly frank. Credit where it's due, but the gambit has ultimately failed. The rest of these skinks are overrun, and these skink chiefs are the only healthy units remaining on the battlefield. Another battle is ours, and another sort of great fight for Mr. Hakor, who is, I guess, our second army. I'm going to enjoy seeing what heights he can take his force to. Alright, there we go. A nice little fight against the lizards. We nearly lost Hakor, unfortunately, as he got focused down by the 3 enemy skink chiefs there. And I guess those blow darts really do put in the work. Otherwise, we probably took a little bit more damage from the skinks than we otherwise would, as the brutal business, the plus 20 base weapon damage, made sure that even the garbage in melee skink skirmishers were able to at least fight to some degree against the NEHEKHARA horsemen and stuff. Still, made it for a more interesting fight. Occupy, completing at last the province, our main province. Worship of construction reduction, please, much as I'd love worship of... Sunscorched Bones. Much as I'd love worship... Ooh, Carnapic Jar Hoarder, though. Maybe we'll get 2 points in Sunscorched. We'll get the Jar Hoarder. We need this army to function as an army as fast as we possibly can. Anyway, Master, as I was saying, much as I'd love to get the worship of control bonuses, but anyway, all good. All right, looks like we got a big old border with Manny, but he likes us now, or at least is moving to liking us, so he won't see the inevitable attack coming. Gotta head towards that pyramid of Prince Tutankhamun as soon as we can, as well as glorious charge for skeleton chariots. Hello, more chariot buffs, yes please. And of course the Sphinx Legion of Numas, a Tomb Guard elite unit, which will mean, well, more special Tomb Guard for Settra, as I'm sure he'll want some. And we'll get some different types in there. Anyway, King Wakov. You now have your Spellcrawl Stalkers. I was going to potentially recruit them... wait. Not there. Anyway, we're not going to upgrade you, but... I guess what you can do is move here to trade some of the units with Hakor. I might actually spread these Spellcrawl Stalkers out so that both armies have access to a couple. Although, again, Desert Fighter kind of feels appropriate for you. Wait, if we go for Asaf, this would buff the missile strength of them, but nothing else. No, you gotta go with Kasar the Faceless. And you should also be careful of wading too far into the Badlands. Just make sure that you stay in the desert. You live in the desert and you've got all your buffs for the desert, so desert is where you shall be. So the skeleton horses need to be upgraded to NEHEKHARA horses. Wait, are we able to upgrade them, or do we have capacity yet? What's our capacity here? No, 4 out of 4, darn. We do have the spare one though, so I guess we could just transfer him over. And then at least one of the skeleton horse archers. Yeah, fine. You two meet up real quick. You can move while channeling, actually. Wait, actually, no, I lied. Go into Great Obelisk of Khemri because we need the bonus control here. And also, we'll upgrade you for the Tomb Guard. And we're going to need to awaken a new dynasty soon because we'll need another army. At the very least, our research rate isn't going too bad. And, you know, I'm pretty tempted to unlock our first... our first Lich Priest, just to Steel Tech. It's such a big buff. Yeah, it's 250 Canopic Jars, but I think it's worth it. Let's go for the Priesthood of Tra. And we'll get back to Runic Inscriptions afterwards. And then there's a good argument to be made for saving up the money now to get the Great Pyramid of Settra up and running. With the reduction, it'll be a little bit cheaper, and as soon as it finishes construction, it'll give us 1+1 capacity for all heroes, which means more tech thievery, which is certainly needed. Oh, right, the frickin' Slaneshi cult. What does this do again? Each turn, 10%. Oh, that's when Slanesh corruption is 100% or more. 2% chance to spawn a Slanesh cult in one of your regions, excluding this region. We really need to get rid of that. Alright, soon. Very soon. Can't leave it too long. I don't know which Tomb Kings are worshipping Slanesh while Settra's out and about, but I don't know. Not the best idea in the world, I'd wager. End turn. Alright, oh! Huh, okay, so it isn't actually every 50 turns. Now, what is this? Ooh, oh, wow, okay, I thought for a second we might not have enough jars. A bunch of bonuses. We'll take the bunch of bonuses, why not? Our armies rise again. Our eternally loyal troops will drive away any interlopers and withstand any assault, but their strength could be ritually bolstered by the Lich Priests. So, damage when attacking, resistance when defending. It's not much, but, you know, for 300, I think it's worth our time. Constructor. So, where's their main army? Who are they fighting? Maybe Kotar is actually generally fairly strong, so it's probably doing a decent job if they're not broken. Oh, no. Alright, you know, maybe we'll give it a turn or two before popping. We want this thing up and running fast as we can. Oh, no. Another rat army. Well, screw you, too. You're going to Temple of the Sun, then. I was going to have these guys trade stuff. Well... oh well. Let me just think about this for a second. And now, I was going to send you to help against Manny, but if Settra's busy southward a little bit, maybe it'll be fine. Maybe you go this way, maybe you two together will deal with the rats instead. Fair enough. Alright, it's gonna lose a lot of control, but whatever. -7? Oh, the raiding. Damn you, rats. Okay, yeah, we do need to wipe them out because of that, if nothing else. Alright, you know what? We'll save for the turn and get the Great Pyramid of Settra next turn then instead. And then that afterwards as well. Alright, and we have to wait until the priesthood gets unlocked. The rest of this is no capacity, unfortunately, so we'll just have to deal. Anyway, as I was starting to say, between the turns, I might have cut this out or I might not. I decided to go for the trade agreement with the ogres, partly because they're weak, and we're going to destroy them anyway, as we have to head up to the necropolis of Numas, but they're giving us a solid 300 gold per turn for the privilege of trading with us, so we can trade with them for now, and then wipe them out afterwards. Settra's going to be busy with Manny and this stuff for a while, until we link up with the other Tomb Kings down here. The Charnel Valley is also the passage to Khalida, so, you know, we'll want to go over there. Though I don't imagine we actually need to see her in order to confederate her via this. So we just need to get where we need to be financially there, so, yeah. Anyway, Settra. What do we have in terms of enemies here at the Petrified Palm of Asaph? Not much, though we are damaged, and I can't say I like that very much. But it is what it is. Springs of Eternal Life is better defended. Close victory against this garbage? Well, maybe if we send the second army in, it won't be such a close one. I guess you have to go into regular stance, or I guess channeling stance afterwards. Let's put you right here. Maybe we can switch stances after all. Or at least we'll find out in a second. And there we go. Now, what does this say about the auto-resolvage? Looks like we're good. Auto-resolve, damage, but okay. And occupy. Trying to get those Canoptic jars back. Yeah, we really need to make sure that we always have over 300. More campaign movement range and corruption reduction. I imagine that we already have one of those on Settra. You, Prince Ratik, don't need a mount. Right? Ratik is our bannerman, yeah. So he's fine. Let's get you training and tough as nails and crypt. I thought that said crypt robots, and I was like, wait, what? Raid the following region. Oh, I didn't even realize we had that. Darn, that's 250 Canopic jars. Yeah, I gotta pay attention to that. That's my bad. I completely missed that. Anyway, this one we will keep. Don't collect the income, though. Alright, what I wanted to check was, can you go into Great Dynasties? Yes, you can. This will help you heal. Barely. Okay, fine. Screw that then. Just go for rebuilding the units lost to auto resolve. Why not? And then Settra, you're gonna need to heal as well, but we'll just deal with that as we can. You will get Conqueror of the Past. We need the control bonuses for all territories. These guys are healing slowly as well. Do Necrotechs not? Okay, no, they increase mobility. Now, don't tell me it's the mages that do it. Casualty or punishment rate. I guess faction-wide we can get bonus casualty or punishment by spamming high-tier territories or high public order territories, so we can always do that. Oh, look at all this stuff we can build here. We just need the money. It's all money now. Soon, though, soon. It's the nature of the Tomb Kings. Black Maw. Oh, you're out here, another ogre faction. No, you're in our territory. NEHEKHARA will be fully ours. Other stuff can be vassalized. We are good to go, yes? Prince Psalmtic, you can buff up your control bonuses. There we go. Get this up to max, and then we can send you on over to Khemri until it's maxed out as well. Anyway, quickly in the turn.
The time has come, my lord, to signal to your people that NEHEKHARA is truly an empire resurgent. Perhaps some grand civic project is in order, if I may be so bold.
Alrighty, looks like we've unlocked the Blessed Blade of Tra, and... Savage Giant and a bunch of Imperials. Gearhard's Mercenaries. Probably more difficult than it looks. Ready for duty, King Menkhas. More frickin' chaos corruption. How dare you? Fortunately, we have a lot of anti-corruption, so it's not a big deal. I just want to see, yeah, reinforcements expected. As, well, completely unsurprising. We'll want a few more Tomb Guard before we hit that up. For now, though, switch Settra into... What will heal more? This will give us 18 and 3. This will give us... Okay, this will heal us more. So, now let's heal up you. Decorruptify while you do. Move to the Springs of Eternal Life, which we will probably have to fight. Yeah, we got lots of Graveguard there, and we'll definitely do that one cinematically. Okay, Hakor. You cannot reach Plague Rolk. You can, however, go into ambush stance outside this place. Actually, maybe even move forward. And then you cannot reach him either, so I'm going to pop you into ambush. Hopefully he'll move to, try to move towards one of the territories. You can actually probably move forward even further. You gotta catch him with one of them. Unfortunately, the large territories in Old World mean that it's fairly dangerous. We gotta get that pyramid up and running. Great Pyramid of Settra, there we go. And then we're gonna save 6k to burn down that Chaos Cult next turn. The hero bonuses will be real helpful as well. Alright, it looks good to me. Settra's good, and Wakaf is ambushing. Panet has reached rank 10, which is good. What are you again, Panet? Oh, right, you're the sort of follower lord. You're gonna need Master Charioteers, but for now... could go through Arcane Conduit, at least get the magical reserves up and running. I'm kind of tempted to just try to get 5th generation Priest ASAP. Yeah, alright, fine. Let's go through evasion and all that. Since you're a follower lord, your, army doesn't really matter like the others do. At least in theory, or at least for now. Also, yeah, this is going to go to a specific army, and frankly, so is this. I mean, we could at least temporarily pop the Blessed Legion in here, although, again, this army is not going to have skeleton archers, it's going to have skeleton horse archers, so we could maybe put them in here instead. Although I like the combination of NEHEKHARA horsemen and NEHEKHARA warriors. Range and melee attack when fighting in the desert, plus an additional 4 melee attack when fighting in the desert, yeah. Could also be a potential defensive army as well, but anyway, I believe that's all we got in terms of money and things we can do. Canal of Abundance. Oh, I really need to upgrade you to final tier, but you don't need the growth anymore, so you're good there. And... we'll wait until we burn down the Chaos Cult. For now, let's end the turn, see what these rats do. Alright, looks like Hakor's ambush was foiled, and Plague Rolk moves away from him, only for Ksara's disciple, King Wakaf, to catch him instead. Sepulchral Stalkers. Man, I love these units. About to have some fun with them. Slaneshi giggle. Anyway, kill Plague Rolk, please. And we're definitely going to fight this Pyrrhic victory. Ooh, we get a couple storm vermin, but, well, good luck to them. Go. Alrighty, here we go, we march indeed. No choice in the matter, really, as this Tomb King can only be on foot. And nonetheless, Wakaf looking pretty good with a completely necessary amount of gold on him, as he heads directly to the enemy with those twin blades of his and getting ready to lay in. Still, it'll be nice to have at least one lord that's guaranteed to be a foot lord, so I like it. Anyway, more important than Wakaf perhaps is my beloved units of sepulchral stalkers. I love these freaking things, and we're certainly going to put them to good use on both sides, or three sides of the map. They are going to try to target the enemy storm vermin here and here, while one separate one is going to move around the enemy and try to go after those plague claw catapults. Shotgun blast's gonna gun down a few of those clan rats, and we'll hit a few more of those storm vermin. There we go in the back, as they try to run away and apparently escape these sepulchral stalkers rather than attempt to fight them directly, at least on this side. Over here, another unit of storm vermin is heading towards the snakes, but they have no real hope of catching them. Not only do the shotgun blasts apply poison, but the sepulchral stalkers at 75 move speed are extremely quick. There we go, get a few more blasts into the enemy like so, and just as they're about to reach us, turn and back away. Lead them toward us a little bit more, and then turn again, and then keep on shotgunning, as one does. Looks like a unit of clan rat spears is pretty heavily damaged here. And while the sepulchral stalkers could probably take care of them in melee, they could just use their mass to push on through and go after more critical targets, like this enemy artillery piece. Our main line is certainly in range now, but the crossfire from the sepulchral stalkers obliterates the enemy artillery piece. And damn, these guys are really quick at knocking out the individual artillery. Beautiful. Otherwise, enemy storm vermin still giving chase to the sepulchral stalkers, who've taken no damage so far, and the storm vermin down by about 40% of their HP. Other storm vermin, however, together with a bunch of clan rats, have closed the distance with our main line. But being tied up by the piles of skeleton spears is exactly what we want, because it means shotgun blasts to the back. And of course, we're free to lose as many of those spears as we want. Now, it does look like... Ooh, there we go. It does look like we've lost at least one unit of the stalkers here to the clan rat spears. A little bit of anti-large. Oh, and once again, that base weapon damage actually, again, working really well for the rats. But what can you do? There we go, another big blast into the back of the enemy clan rats, who have nearly wiped out the skeleton spears, but they will die in just the same. Our other units, cavalry and chariot alike, are also causing havoc in the back lines. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units are routing, thanks to all the cav. And the cav and the stalkers do work well together. Now, this is probably going to be an army that's going to be kind of meh at fighting multiple armies at once, but very, very good at fighting one-on-ones. But I don't mind that. We've had some very fun... Hey, don't destroy chariots. I've had some very, very fun battles in the Lokir campaign, specifically with the army that isn't meant to fight more than one army at once, because it's always long odds, and that means great fights. Alright, speaking of great fights, this one was a lovely one, but it looks like the enemy is done, having achieved nothing, being unable to catch those sepulchral stalkers who minced many a rat this day. And, you know, snakes eating rats does make sense, and that's why the skinks wanted to summon Sotek to rid them of their rat problem in Lustria, and our necroserpents are just as adept at hunting the Skaven as the lizards are. Alright, very nice fight. Lost a couple of useless, sacrificial skeleton spears holding the line, but about as expected, and we did really, really well with those sepulchral stalkers. Admittedly, my own bias towards them means that I have a tendency to micro them pretty darn hard, but they're really good units. We also got solid work out of the chariots, and I'm thinking this army being the sort of desert warfare army here, we will make use of the sneaky snakes to guard the skeleton horse archers. We'll switch the skeleton chariots to ranged skeleton chariots, and if any cavalry or something should give chase and find themselves attacking the skeleton horse archers, that's where the sepulchral stalkers with their anti-large halberds will come in. Of course, the main line is going to have issues, but we'll build it up with Tomb Guard eventually. It's not like we'll be using piles of basic skeletons in the late game. So anyway, we'll take the money for obvious reasons. We need every little bit we can get, especially if we get annoying random cults of pleasure. Cult of pleasure, yes? Bye. There we go, 6k. Could have built a Hierotitan thing for all that. Anyway, you sit in... actually, I was about to say channeling stance, but you actually need to rebuild the skeletons. Ooh, we got that Tomb Guard capacity now. Gotta get more of those to Settra. Well, Kav, hold on to that obsidian lodestone. Hakor, I guess you two together are going to proceed to knock out the Skaven here at the Swamp of Terror and whatever. And proceed to other places after. At least with the ogres being reasonably friendly with us now, we won't have to worry about them attacking us, most likely. Do have to worry about the orcs, but it is what it is. We don't have enough armies to be everywhere right now, so it is what it is. I already said that, you know what I mean. Anyway. And maybe start building a few shanty buildings at least. Admittedly, this is going to be one of our bigger money-making territories, so we will definitely need the refurbished workshop in this place to take as much advantage of the Black Tower of Arcan as possible. Meaning this is probably going to be a very good place to start building these faded pyramidions. You know what, maybe start on it then. Make good money out of it. Anyway, Great Pyramid of Settra. What do we have here? Well, first of all, you will also need a pyramidion, but we'll build the mausoleum and that takes all of our money. Not to worry. A few more turns and we'll be where we want to be. So the mage is up and running now, so let's finish up with runic inscriptions and then awaken a new army afterwards. We will want to steal tech from... Well, these orcs hate us. Let's steal tech from them then. Lich Priest. We will want the type that's wise for the additional canopic jars. And you will go first into Specialist, but once that's maxed out, we'll go for Canopic Jar Hoarder. What's your success chance? Ooh, this place is Rebellion and... Wait, what? You can't steal tech. Huh, go figure. You can replenish troops, though. Okay, well, apparently screw me. I figured that that you guys did have the ability to steal tech, but apparently not the case. That's fine. Oh, wait, is it Necrotechs that steal tech? Have I been wrong this entire time? Where's Settra? Necrotech. Block Army, Canopic Jar Hoarder. Oh, right, that reminds me. Canopic Jar Hoarder, please. You can't steal tech either. Okay, nobody can steal tech. Fine. That means we don't need you. At least we don't need you in this form. Although I don't dislike the wise guys providing us additional canopic jars. In the early game, it's going to be very, very useful. But nonetheless... And we could then grab a custodian for Settra. However, we need a custodian... Well, I guess we could get a advisor as well with Frenzy. That's not bad. We'll need both, although that takes up a lot of space in Settra's army. I think the healing potion will be more worth it, so we'll wait for a Lich Priest of NEHEKHARA, so you can stick around for now, giving us additional jars. In fact, wait, is there another wise guy? There is not. Alright, so we'll wait. And just give us canopic jars. We can use it as a scout until we get Settra's guy up and running. Speaking of Settra, Tomb Prince, you have canopic jar hoarder maxed out. We will want a steamed combatant, but it's time to move towards air command, so... Let's go Fearless in Death, I guess. I don't really care about any of the options in that particular tree, so it doesn't really matter. You will proceed to the Springs of Eternal Life. And it looks like we'll be able to knock these guys out before while Qatar is distracting them, which works quite nicely for us. You're going to proceed here. And how's the decorruptification going? Decently well. How many territories? And just the 2. Huh. Yeah, they still have clearly a full stack, at least 1, maybe 2, considering the balance of power. Considering we have we have 4 nearly full stacks. So it is what it is. Anyway, we are definitely fighting this. Go. Wait, do they have a... They do not have a, meaning we can do this as a cinematic. Garrison structure is what I was getting at.
Sacrifice them.
Alrighty, here we go. Settra, for a brief time before he gets the Chariot of the Gods, will be on a Khemri and War Sphinx. I do remember when he came out, the Chariot was kind of, and generally speaking, the War Sphinx performed better, but I don't believe that's going to be the case. Well, A, I don't believe it's the case anymore, and B, I don't believe that's the case in SFO at all. I'm remembering the monstrous effectiveness of Tsarina Katrin on her war sled. She is absolutely insane, and I absolutely loved her campaign just because of that frickin' sled. It's pretty fun. And I imagine Settra will be able to do similar things, being both a hybrid unit and having a big old chariot. Anyway, we'll have plenty more Tomb Lords, Tomb Kings on War Sphinxes, so Settra can be on his chariot, but for now we'll enjoy the double Sphinx that we've got here. Anyway, we got a probably pretty quick battle before us here. The enemy does have, what, 8 units, I believe, of Graveguard, which is nothing to sneeze at, especially with the current buffs that they have. Plus the unit of Crypt Horrors, which will mix nicely with those Graveguard for a heck of a line, and the Black Coach, though admittedly the AI is kind of terrible at using those, so I don't know whether that will achieve anything. Nonetheless, we have broken through the gate, and it's time at last to move into the enemy settlement. Both Sphinxes will bound forth. Oh, look at them bound in different directions, so cute. And it looks like some of the Crypt Horrors will close the distance with Settra. I guess another issue with the War Sphinx specifically for Settra is that it's the War Sphinx doing all the work. At least with the Chariot it feels like it's Settra, you know what I mean? Alright, well, either way, looks like a bunch of bats have joined the fray, but the problem with the bats is that they really love to blob up, and that means a big hit with the Wrath of Tra will dish out massive amounts of damage. In the meantime, we're trying to break through the gate, popping off a Drops Incantation of Cursed Blades on our Tomb Guard to give them a little bit of a bleed advantage, insofar as you can bleed a unit of Graveguard. But anyway... And of course, with our look at the three tomb barks together, looking pretty cool. I like it a lot. They almost look like one singular sort of bigger unit like that. Trying to maybe use their mass to push through a little bit. What is their mass, by the way? They seem to be having a little bit of a difficult time moving their way through infantry. Oh, 1,500. That's quite small, actually. Huh. Only 1,500, really? I was expecting more. Go figure. Like, Mr. Panet here, the Lich Priest, has 1,750. The Tomb Bark, a big old boat with six rather Tomb Guard archers on it, has less than one fragile priest on a skeleton steed. Okay. I don't know, game. Maybe they were worried about making them too strong. Certainly a possibility. What's the mass on the War Sphinxes? Yeah, 5.5k. That makes sense. Anyway, all good. What the Tomb Barks may lack in mass, they certainly make up for in effectiveness, which they very much are, as they help clear the way through the breach and allow the rest of our Tomb Guard to close the distance. Now the Tomb Guard face off against the Graveguard, the undead and, well, undead fighting undead in the desert. Certainly a thing in the Warhammer world. And while we do hear some monstrous growls on occasion, I do love the sort of silent fighting and just the clash of weapons between the undead armies. There we go. No fear, no withdraw, just complete discipline. The Graveguard, unfortunately, discipline or not, have fallen. By and large, there are still a few within the enemy settlement. The enemy as Crypt Horrors remain, but probably not for much longer without the help of the other infantry units to intersperse them into. And of course, again, 3 Tombbarks, 2 War Sphinxes. Oh, there we go. We'll clear them up rather quickly. Otherwise, just gotta head towards the last of the enemy units of Graveguard in the settlement. And there's War Sphinx 1 and War Sphinx 2. Beautiful. And, strong binding and animated. Oh, and there's the Black Coach. I was thinking that the enemy's army had already suffered enough losses to begin melting away, but it looks like with 3 infantry remaining as well as the Black Coach, and the enemy is still willing to fight. Fair enough. For how long, though, remains to be seen. A little bit of a Magic Chariot and Magic Chariot as the undead echo each other in terms of what they've got available. Too bad we don't have our Shapta yet, but we will, not to worry. It's only the 2nd episode. It's all coming together. And the poor Black Coach will be absolutely torn to shreds. Of course, oh, nice, and killed by the breath from Settra's War Sphinx. Yeah, the problem with the Black Coaches is that they're very fragile until they can get enough proximity kills to get the Black Nimbus ability up and running, and I guess all of their various abilities up and running, which gives them a massive increase to ward save and makes them extremely tanky. But until they get there, they're quite easy to destroy, and the AI clearly kept that thing back, which meant that it wasn't able to build up its ability. Anyway. Couple of skeleton warriors here. Trying to hold us off. Infesting a Tomb King city, I think, however, is a bad idea. Ooh, love those breath attacks from the War Sphinxes. And I can't wait to get those big old, blade-wielding Necro Sphinxes as well. But I'm really happy about the Tombbarks already, I gotta say. They're pretty cinematic units. Though I do wish they had more ammunition. They run out of ammo really, really quickly. It acts like they have a ton, saying 86, but they really don't feel like they have a ton of ammo. I wonder if we could... Actually, I think nothing in the red line buffs them at all, so I guess they're a unique unit that doesn't actually get buffs. I think in the techs we get a special ability in Settra's tech tree for every unit, but Tombbarks are also excluded, so they're kind of, take them as they are. But maybe there are some sort of faction-wide ammunition buffs that will apply to them that'll help out, because, yeah, could use more ammo. And they've definitely run out several times now, and, I mean, we've only had them for 1 episode. Anyway, with that, the last of the Graveguard melt away, and the city is retaken, returned to its rightful owners. Alright, there we go. 3 losses, no problem at all. Most damage coming in on the Chariot Tomb Prince, who's obviously supposed to be traveling normally with the other chariots, but in this particular case, he was a bit busy. Speaking of chariots, what level do you need to be to unlock the Chariot of the Gods there, Settra? Not that I think you're doing badly with that Khemri and War Sphinx. Let's find out. Ooh, I'd love to sack the place, but... I mean, is there a value to doing this right now? Well, dealing with a public order is not something I want to deal with. You'd have to essentially uncollect income for longer. Just occupied regularly. All good. Priest of Tra and Sapper, and I think it's rank 20 or 18. Yeah. I want to do Settra's quest battle with the Chariot of the Gods, because it feels appropriate, so I think we'll wait on that one. Let's also grab the last point in Conqueror of the Past for another little bonus control, and there we go. His unique line is mostly there now. There's still a few nice things we want to grab, like Returned in Madness for the physical resistance, Ceremonial Bandages for the missile resistance, and obviously start buffing up our actual armies. Haven't even gotten to Root Marcher, because Settra is just that point hungry. He wants all the points. Fair enough. Inscription of Repair will be nice as well, but, Canopic Jar Hoarder. And, It has that Dune restoration thing that we can stack with the books, which will come in handy as well. Lovely. Alright, looks like these guys down to 1 territory. Much as I'd love to take the 7k from them, we're going to be busy fighting Manfred shortly. I feel like retaking that Sedan temple, but I'm pretty sure we can send the follower army to grab that. Actually, speaking of... Well, you know what? Stay in your current stance, because we're decorruptifying the place as we go. Got additional NEHEKHARA horseman capacity out of this, but we don't need it here. And wait a moment. We can immediately upgrade you to Tomb Guard and then fill up the missing ranks of Tomb Guard if we leave it here. You know, I don't dislike that. Maybe we'll do that. Keep that, delete that, build wood eventually. For now, go for the obelisk because our public order here is going to be horrendous, and we will collect income next turn. For now, though, I think with that, folks, we are out of time, and I'm going to have to call the episode here. The pyramid will be constructed next episode, and that'll give us additional heroes to pop into the armies. We'll awaken the next dynasty, the second. And maybe Rakash as well, I will think about it. What do you do? Income from all buildings in local province. You're not the builder guy, are you? No, I think that was somebody else. Construction time -40 for all buildings. So with Thutep, lovely as it is to have the War Sphinx buffs, just this alone, -40% construction time for all buildings, means that if you sit in a high tier location, it's 1 turn for any building construction, including any pyramids, including Black Pyramid of Arcan, for example, so Black Tower of Arcan, rather. He wishes it was a pyramid. The value of that is pretty darn high as a builder lord. Admittedly, it is an army then that we can't use as a, well, army, but we'll deal. Anyway, we'll move northward towards the Skaven next time, and maybe towards the orcs as well, at least these first orcs, because we gotta try to get towards Zandri fast as possible. I do imagine we have some landmarks there as well, plus it's better to wipe out the undead and get the... I don't know, 8th Book of Nagash, or whichever one it is there as fast as possible, while Settra deals with Manny. And of course, get more armies and all that up and running, as well as our economy. Stay tuned for more Settra, and don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.